Hello, and welcome to episode 23 of the Cage Fight podcast. We're back to prime numbers, and
Michael Jordan, baby.
Oh yeah, Michael Jordan. That was a way better reference than a prime number. You know.
I'm sorry, Anthony Davis, pre 2019.
Sterling Brown. I think it's the most important.
Absolutely.
So you said Prime, right?
Yeah, prime.
Here's the thing.
You watch Primal?
Yeah, we watched Primal, and imagine Optimus Prime, but he was in a funk metal band, Optimus Primus.
Dude, what if Optimus Prime was like, we have to get the Autobots together to sing Too Many Puppies. Or something.
We gotta sing this fucking sailing this.
Autobots, Winona's big brown beaver is inbound.
Now, Optimus Prime, if he views himself as being like half truck, he's Optimus Prime, but he views himself as being half robot, then he's Pessimist Prime. I don't know, this is a bad joke.
Now that was solid. I felt it coming, but it was good.
Imagine Les Claypool, but he can turn into various vehicles.
Little Les Claypool RC car.
Well, I'm thinking more Claypool.
And that's been our show. Yes, so this episode we're talking about the movies Kick-Ass and returning favorite, Zandalee.
Definitely returning favorite, let me tell you.
Yes, Zandalee, which beat out Left Behind in episode 5, which, knowing how good Left Behind is, you can get an impression of how good Zandalee
and that's the thing, we all got left behind. We let it all slip away.
And I really left behind every memory of that fucking trash movie.
Well, Jess's cat left behind a big turd a couple weeks ago.
And I think it's still here. I don't smell it anymore, but I feel its presence.
I'll guarantee you that turd was better than the movie Left Behind.
Yeah, it was, frankly. But, yes, so, I guess we should introduce ourselves. I'm Jess.
My name is Taylor, and I'm cool as fuck.
I'm Mike. I accidentally cut off Taylor for a second. I'm really sorry.
That's the nicest you've ever been to me.
And up on the boards, we got...
Fuck y'all.
All right, He's just going to start it off with immediate hostility. Then I don't know why I felt the need to reach out with an olive branch like that. But
I guess we can change the name of this podcast to Dave Fight, basically.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm Dave.
There we go.
You push me away.
Yeah, we don't have a guest this week, so we're back to the normal Cage Fight experience where it's just us fucking idiots rambling about...
Yeah,
mostly 9/11.
Bryan Singer.
we tried to get a guest, but everybody who looks up Zandalee on Wikipedia doesn't want to watch it. And we got to a point where we're just kind of like hanging outside of Walmart asking people if they wanted to come on, and nobody was really receptive. So
yeah, it's like, listen, don't you want to see a movie where Nick Cage and Judge Reinhold just both rail this girl and their assholes are showing all the time? They're
Wait, no, I think the problem here is Judge Reinhold does not do that.
No, hey, let's not spoil it. Let's talk about the movie at hand.
No. We've already spoiled this. We had a whole episode about it.
Hey, not everyone has listened to that episode, okay?
That's true. I certainly haven't.
I haven't since I edited it. But I guess if we're going to kick things off, we should start with Kick-Ass first, since we haven't covered it. It's fresh new ground. So Kick-Ass came out in 2010. It's rated R and was directed by Matthew Vaughn. Produced by Marv Films and Plan B Entertainment. Which probably should have produced Zandalee, I guess. But
yeah, I was gonna say Plan B Entertainment should have been very, fucking supple on the set of Zandalee.
When Zandalee was in post-production, or as I like to call it, the third trimester, it should have been stopped.
Should have been aborted.
Yeah, late term.
Late term abort, partial birth abortion.
Oh,
I think
God.
Runtime of 117 minutes on Kick-Ass, budget of $30 million, and anyone want to guess the box office gross?
I'm going to guess $123 million.
Oh, I was actually going to say 121, but you know what? I'll stick with 121 because Price is Right rules might help me here.
Right. Well, you both went over.
Fuck.
96.2 million.
Shit,
so no winners this time. I will be keeping track of this, and then at the end of the podcast, whoever has the most, I'm going to give you my old dishwasher, and I'm going to buy it.
Yeah!
I need to
That's
start.
a good gift, dude.
I need to start coming up with actual guesses because I don't.
Well,
have
I
a
have to get a
dishwasher.
new one because it's broken.
So you said that's another movie in.
This is a movie in the black, though. Yeah. Oh, look at you reminding me of the things I'm supposed to do as a host. Thank
So
you.
out of
No, I
41
was just
now.
curious.
That's a solid, slightly over a third.
Yeah, that's pretty good if you ask me.
Rotten Tomatoes has got a 76% on the tomato meter, 81% audience rating. So this is quite well liked by audiences, and very well liked by critics, actually.
Yeah,
Critics like this a lot more than I was expecting them to for some reason. I expect them to be more snooty, I suppose, but
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't remember how the critics received Scott Pilgrim, but it has like a similar vibe to Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think 4 months before Scott Pilgrim came out.
Was it
This movie does
before or
have a very
after?
Scott Pilgrim
was
element to
before.
it. I mean, they're basically like comic book / superhero movies.
Yeah, and they
So-
also reference Scott Pilgrim in this.
Yeah,
Yes,
they really
they do.
do. I forgot about that.
I,
That kind of fucked me up because
the
I'm just like,
comic
wait, did
did,
this
not
movie
the
come out
movie.
first, or did Scott But you said this movie came out before Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I think a few months beforehand.
But yeah, I do remember back in high school, this and Scott Pilgrim being two movies that like ton of the kids I knew were super into.
Everyone in high school talked about Kick-Ass and Scott Pilgrim a lot, and I'd actually never seen Kick-Ass until literally a couple days ago to review the.
I have seen
review on
both
the show.
Kick-Ass and Scott Pilgrim many, many times, but not in many, many years, actually. So,
All right.
Oh, not many, many. What's it been? It's been like 8 years since. Jesus Christ. I'm
Frankly, it's because you
feel old
fucking
now.
grew up. Grew old and ragged, and now you just don't have the fucking patience or the nostalgia for these things from when you were a child.
Look, I'm
Should I
getting
be in?
back into my emo days, so like I've got
What
to
better
bring
time to get back into emo than 2020? Let me tell you.
Hell yeah. I mean, everything's sad, so why not?
World sucks, folks. We don't like.
Yeah, this is my first time watching it since I saw it in the theater. So
Oh, wow.
it's been
shit.
10 years since the last time I
right.
watched it and did not enjoy it. But you know what?
You mean you didn't enjoy
Wait,
it
you
back
did-
then?
I
or
didn't
now?
enjoy it back then. I'll save my thoughts
Okay.
for how I felt about it this time around.
Well, that's the thing is that back in the day, Mike was a pretentious dick, and now he's. Okay, I don't know. I'll wait to your opinions on
No,
that.
yeah, I'm still a pretentious dick. But
yeah, if anything, I've known him my whole life, and he's only gotten more pretentious with age.
Okay, no, I fuck with that.
absolutely.
I can accept that.
Well, that's the only way to be, right?
But in my defense, I saw this movie on a first date in high school, and so I was just, trying to figure out how to do the yawn arm move.
yeah, and you had. Did you have the whole cut in the bag of the popcorn already at that point?
No, see, that was my mistake. Is I should have went in the theater beforehand or brought my own bag. So I'm sitting there in the theater, and I'm trying to poke a hole through the soggy bottom, but it wasn't working. And so take out my pocket knife, I cut my dick. It was a whole thing.
Well, I saw this movie in the theater, I think, for the first time too, also, and yeah, I don't know. I think I was there with like 3 other friends, and 2 of them were dating. So I was like that kid that's later in the movie when everyone's making out, and you're just sitting there.
Just reading a comic book, yeah. That's the thing. I actually saw this movie in a porn theater in 40 seconds. No, I'm thinking of Zandalee. Never mind. Wrong movie we were talking about.
I mean, very easy to mix up the movies because they're both so sexy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talk about sexy female characters. You know what I mean? Like,
Although, wait, I did see this with a girlfriend later, just on the couch once, and then.
and he fucked.
No, I don't kiss and tell, boy, but we fucked. No.
Let me tell you
Wait,
something.
listen, we don't kiss and tell, but we fucking tell.
But yeah, that's all I have for general overview facts. You got any trivia, Mike?
Well, I got some fun info here. So the director, Matthew Vaughn, also directed the Kingsman movies, which I'm a huge fan of. The first Kingsman is incredible.
I haven't seen the second, but the first Kingsman is a really good movie, especially if you're into like the campy Bond movies.
Yeah, it's like what I want James Bond to be because it's like wild fight scenes with espionage and cute boys. And so he directed those, as well as X-Men First Class, and he has a story by credit on X-Men Days of Future Past, directed by none other than Bryan Singer.
Shit. Oh,
He has written a Bryan Singer movie, Matthew Vaughn has.
and then he wrote this movie directed towards teenagers, probably at the behest of Bryan Singer.
Yeah, gun to his head, really.
by Hit Girl.
Yeah, Hit Girl, who
acts the way that she does because she was traumatized by Brian. Never mind, I'm not.
Yeah,
Brian
Singer has said in the past that if he had to choose one girl, it would be Hit Girl circa 2010. So some trivia for you. After being rejected by every studio they approached, they raised the budget at a dinner party and ended up making the movie independently. Ultimately sold it to Universal for more than they had originally asked them for. But before ending up at Lionsgate, the producers gave them an ultimatum, basically saying that either take Hit Girl out or make her 19.
Oh, that's ridiculous, dude. If
that
she was
takes
19,
away like all of the charm of this movie.
yeah, if she was 19, like what type of people our age would have jerked off to her back then?
Oh,
Exactly.
God.
Also, not to get too deep into my thoughts already, but Hit Girl is the best character in this movie, and if they would have taken her out, I would shoot somebody in the head in Aurora. Nicolas Cage modeled his speech mannerisms as Big Daddy on the original Adam West Batman. Which
I did. What?
Yeah.
How? What? He can't do impressions and he can't do accents either. What the fuck?
So apparently during the costume fitting, he was like trying to work up an Adam West impression, and basically Vaughn was just happy to have anything that wasn't Christian Bale's gravel voice from The Dark Knight.
Okay, you know, fuck it. Never mind. I will accept that. But the Adam West impression, no.
I will
Nick
say,
Cage.
I do really like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. Or I did. I haven't watched them in a very long time.
They're still really good, honestly.
But the Christian Bale Batman voice is so fucking stupid and annoying.
Oh, you don't like it when it goes like this? He sounds like Cookie Monster vocals from a death metal band in the mid-90s.
See, that really fit there. But yeah, that I don't know. He's fucking rich as fuck. Why didn't he get like some sort of like voice modulator he could put in his mouth?
Because that's not fucking cool. That's why. And his voice in the fucking Christopher Nolan Batman movies is fucking cool.
Yeah, and he also wanted to distract from how fucking stupid Tom Hardy sounded as Bane.
You think you're safe right now? Let me tell you, my accent is very stupid.
You have diarrhea in your pants. I was born in it.
That's all I got.
I watch Zandalee and I came a lot.
What else do I got here? Daniel Craig and Mark Wahlberg were considered for the role of Big Daddy before Nicolas Cage was cast.
That is a fucking awful casting choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Daniel Craig would be fucking strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love Daniel Craig, but not in this role.
They should have gotten Pierce Brosnan instead. That would have been way better.
They should have got fucking Roger Moore's corpse.
You know, actually, besides Knives Out and the Bond movies, what has Daniel Craig been in?
He's in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, I never actually watched
Yeah,
that.
that's right, he was.
Knives Out is fucking great, though.
Knives Out is very good. I liked it a lot. It was a top 10 of last year.
Well, you talk about Scott Pilgrim, you know what Knives Out should have been in that movie because Scott Pilgrim should not be grooming a 17-year-old.
Oh. Knives Chow. Nailed it.
Nice.
But also the role of Big Daddy was apparently intended for Brad Pitt, who is good friends with Matthew Vaughn.
All awful choices.
Yeah, seriously. Mark Wahlberg would just be fucking terrible, and it's obvious. I feel like I don't have to discuss how terrible that is. That's just obvious.
It's awful.
But
It would be. It's very interesting to think about how this movie would be remembered in comparison to how it is now if fucking Mark Wahlberg was Big Daddy.
oh yeah,
And it's not even like Big Daddy's I mean, he's a major character, but
he's not central.
yeah. But
Well,
if it was
kind of,
if it was Mark Wahlberg, it would be like you would have to fixate on just like, hey, I'm training my daughter to freaking shoot over here.
You know, he would sound like his role in The Happening. No.
One of the greatest scenes in film history.
They should have gotten Donnie Wahlberg instead. At least Donnie Wahlberg can act.
Get one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Brad Pitt only didn't end up as Big Daddy because he chose to film Inglourious Bastards instead, which was a terrific choice.
Yeah,
way better
because
choice.
that movie's amazing. And
that movie's great, and
he's actually good in it, though.
I think both of those movies probably turned out better for that choice, honestly. But
100%. And then the last thing that I have is that the rights to the film version were actually sold before the comic book was even published.
Really?
Wait, really?
I didn't know that.
I thought the comic book probably came out way before. Really?
Can you check the date on when it came out? I think it did come out before.
Kick-Ass was released in, like, books. It wasn't released in issue form, too. So, and this movie is based on Kick-Ass Book 1, which came out in...
We're having technical difficulties. She's just having a hard time.
I've had like 2 drinks right now. There's a lot of info on Wikipedia. I'll cut it in post. Fuck it. Isn't that crazy when it came out?
That is crazy when it did come out.
Dude.
That scared the shit out of me. Kick-Ass Book 1 was released in February of 2008.
Sorry.
The last part of that was that the Kick-Ass's name, Dave Lazowski, was chosen at a charity auction. The winner of the charity was able to pick the name of the main character, and he chose his own name instead of saying, like, what if you named him Butt Fart Shithead? So,
and this kid probably is dying of cancer, and he just named after a kid who's dying of cancer.
So this was slightly before internet irony had affected the entirety of the current generation before. Yeah. Okay. So this was where you had to be in the know to be doing stupid shit like that.
If I had won the competition, I would have named him Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah, they were really playing it fast and loose there. They could have ended up with a main character that was named, like, Stickle Fritz Dick Taster or something. Like,
and then a character called Hitler Did Nothing Wrong Mountain Dew KFC.
Just very risky on their part to... I mean, if it was naming a side character, maybe, but naming the main character...
they would have named Hit Girl Squirtin' Granny or something.
Honestly... I think they should have named... It would have been pretty funny if she was named Squirtin' Granny. Maybe not appropriate, but, I mean...
Less inappropriate than what Hit Girl does in this movie, though.
Yeah, I mean, she's like an 8-year-old girl who, like, murders people and says, cunts. Well, not with a British accent, but...
So, a plot summary for this movie. And I am going to summarize things a little out of order as how they happened, because the first part of the movie is kind of cutting between a lot of scenes that are establishing characters. So I just kind of lumped the character establishment together. But the opening shot of this movie opens with a guy flying in a superhero suit and killing himself in the process. It's not Kick-Ass, it's some Armenian guy, but it is kind of funny.
Wait, is this Armenian guy, really?
Yes, he says that's some Armenian guy with a history of mental disorders.
Oh, I remember that part. That's really funny. Well, I mean, it makes sense, because, I mean, Armenian people are really, like, stupid, so it makes sense they would...
This is
This is a system of a down. This is a loving household.
No, listen.
This is how the genocide started.
They're one of the good ones, all right?
Oh, okay. But yeah, so we meet Dave Lazowski, who will go on to be the titular Kick-Ass, but
played by
Aaron
Carter.
No, his name is
Brockovich.
His name is Aaron. My name, so don't say his name because then you're gonna fucking dox me.
It's Aaron Johnson.
It's Aaron something Johnson.
He was in Nocturnal Animals, which fucking was great. He was in the 2014 Godzilla. Also,
I remember Aaron Taylor Johnson. It only says Aaron Johnson on the film credits.
Well, it's really funny because I remember seeing his name years ago, and I'm like, this bitch stole my fucking name. Piece of shit. This British piece of shit stole my name. Ugh, awful.
Yeah, who has he been in other things?
He was in the Godzilla remake back in 2015.
Wait, what the fuck? That was him?
Yeah, that was him, yeah.
The Marine dude.
Yeah, didn't he grow up and get rid of the Jufro? Yeah.
Holy
he's
shit.
jacked as shit now. And also check out the movie Nocturnal Animals. My girlfriend didn't like it, but she can suck my butt. So.
Also check out the movie Aaron Brockovich, too. It's a really good movie. A voice is telling me in the heavens to tell everyone that Aaron Brockovich is a great movie. So.
The only memory I have of Aaron Brockovich is that it's like the one movie that my grandpa rented from Blockbuster for some reason. And I saw him naked a bunch of times because we lived at his house. So,
well, did you live with Bryan Singer?
I've literally read 2 sentences and we're already off track, so I'm going to just drag us a little bit back. But Kick-Ass Dave Liszewski, he narrates the film, at least in the early on portions and a lot of the later. But he's a nerdy high schooler who his early characterization is mostly that he does a lot of masturbating.
Yeah, he fantasizes about his MILF teacher.
Yeah.
Which I know is another non sequitur, but fun fact, in real life, Aaron, who shall not be named, is married to a woman who is 24 years older than him. He's 30, she's 54.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
And they met when he was 18 and she was 42.
Ooh. And fun fact, she also has monster jugs.
And her name is Brianna Singer.
Yeah. Fun fact. That wasn't grooming, though. There was no grooming involved somehow.
No.
So the fact that he jacks off to a MILF in this movie is really funny to me, considering how his actual real life trajectory was.
He's a real Ashton Kutcher.
He's got like step grandchildren. He's 30 years old. A weird situation.
But one day he's talking with his friends about why no one has become a superhero in real life while they're at the comic shop. And he like points out that, Batman has no powers. And they're all like, yeah, but Batman is...
He's got the power of wealth and privilege, though. That's the difference.
That's true.
Yeah, and he has a super deep line about how come villains are real but heroes aren't.
Mm-hmm. But so one day Dave kind of orders a wetsuit online that looks like a super suit. It's like green and yellow, and just look at the fucking poster. And he starts wearing it under his normal everyday clothes all the time. But we are also introduced to Chris D'Amico, or McLovin, as he will be referred to.
No, I refer to him as McLovin the entire movie in my notes. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure...
I'm sorry to that actor, but you are forever McLovin.
Yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plasse is his real name, but we're going to call him McLovin.
And I'm sure his life is completely ruined because of that, but I don't really care at this point.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, honestly, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, fucking red mist ass bitch.
Hey, McLovin was in Role Models too.
Hey, it's a good movie. He's in some good movies, but
he can still fuck himself.
I'm not gonna do him the pleasure of referring to him by name.
Well, his name's McLovin.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It says it in the movie.
He's from Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah, that was his real ID.
Yeah, it's like a real name. Like Rihanna and
Exactly.
Beyonce.
It's kind of disrespectful to call him something else, but his name's McLovin, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, in this movie, McLovin is the son of mob boss Frank D'Amico. And the other kids don't know he's the son of a mob boss, really. He's just a rich kid who has no real friends. And the mob that McLovin's dad, Frank, is the head of, is trying to figure out who keeps stealing all of their cocaine. And they keep being told, essentially, that there's a guy in a suit who keeps showing up with a suit and a cape, and he keeps kicking all their asses and, like, taking the coke, but none of the mobsters are willing to believe this.
And they keep torturing this fucking guy at the lumber store. And it's like, first off, they cut off his finger. And then
they kill him, and then they kill
him.
a different guy afterwards by fucking, like, exploding him in an industrial microwave and shit. And
so cool people.
The guy whose, like, fingers they cut off, that was a really funny scene because they kept, like, saying that it was Batman, but he kept saying, like, I didn't say it looked like Batman.
Yeah, it's like, I never said anything about Batman, man.
It's like, what? You got attacked by Batman? And he's got his fucking fingers in a cutter.
Like a bolt cutter.
Yeah, a bolt cutter. Ugh.
But yeah,
scary shit.
No matter how many people they kill, their coke just keeps getting stolen in their warehouse.
And that's saying they cut off his pinky. I didn't realize this was the Yakuza.
Oh, wait.
And also, we are introduced to Nicolas Cage in a scene where the first thing we see him do is shoot his daughter in the chest.
Yes, shoot a adorable 9-year-old girl in the chest.
Yeah, but she's wearing a bulletproof vest.
So you're saying she was asking for it because what she's wearing?
God damn it.
Yes, a little girl was asking for it. That's what Bryan Singer said in his deposition.
So Nicolas Cage and his daughter, who is played by Chloe Grace Moretz, they are essentially crime fighting team that go by Big Daddy and Hit Girl, and they're basically real life superheroes, but they're not well known because they keep a low profile like a superhero probably should.
Yeah, not like certain fuckwits in this movie.
And they're also kind of superheroes with a specific mission to get revenge on this guy who killed.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Mommy.
And yeah, they
led to the situation that allowed her to commit suicide.
Right.
So basically, Cage's backstory in this movie is that he was a cop
Like a drug enforcement cop or something like that.
Yeah, and he was framed as a drug dealer by the big mob boss man, Frank D'Amico, McLovin's dad.
Because the New York Police Department in this movie, except for his friend, are all crooked.
They're all crooked, just like real life.
Just like fucking real life, yeah, exactly.
I think they're pretty good.
The one thing we know about the...
E
Look, they have no jurisdiction here. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, the one thing we know about the NYPD, they're all angels.
Yeah, they have a really hard job, so sometimes they kill people. It's just the stress of the job.
It's pretty stressful, you gotta admit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be killing people too. Sorry.
Really.
But yeah, so he was framed as a drug dealer, and while he was in prison, his wife, who was pregnant with Hit Girl, their daughter, she kills herself with a drug overdose. But
thankfully, they were able to save Hit Girl just in time.
Yeah, they saved the daughter, and Cage immediately begins to form a plan to get back at Frank, training himself and his daughter to be superheroes in the process and to be just super deadly fucking murder machines with any weapon known to humankind.
One of Nick Cage's cop friends is nice enough to be like her godfather in the movie, and he's like the only person who's willing to be like, nah, man, I know it was bullshit, but I'm a cop, so of course I can't really do anything to talk bad about the police and be a whistleblower because that's my job is really hard, man. I had to kill a black person today, and dude, don't fucking judge my life and shit. It was one of those type of things.
Yeah, and you did say that Nicolas Cage's character started training after the mom died, but he, as a cop, was actually trained to kill already. So
he was trained to unload on every person that just
and like
including his daughter.
I was gonna say dogs, people, children. Yeah, I mean, he used his daughter for target practice.
He didn't even know she was wearing the vest. So.
Even before she was born, he was doing target practice on his pregnant wife.
Yeah, he was making her put a Kevlar vest on her stomach and then just shooting her right in it.
Yeah, so those are all of our major players in this story. Moving into Kick-Ass's story, Dave's story, not the Dave on the boards upstairs. This one is
What?
Relevant and good at what he. Neither of them is good at what they do. I'm sorry.
Jess is gonna get voice modulated in a second.
You're gonna pitch shift the fuck
I'm sorry,
out of you.
Dave. I'm just kidding. I love you. Oh God,
It's alright, you have.
You don't fuck with the Dave man.
Okay, look,
Well, what do you say?
I said I'm sorry. I already said I was sorry, and I apologize.
You know I love
sorry.
you, Dave.
How sorry?
Okay.
Yeah, so we were talking about abusing power, cops, Dave.
But yeah, so Mr. Lazewski begins doing his physical training after school, and he's kind of like trying to train to jump over buildings and rooftops, but he is way too cowardly to try that, and he knows he's not up to that, physically up to snuff. But one day after his training, he sees two guys trying to break into a car, and he decides he's going to try and fucking stop them.
Yes, two racial stereotypes who have bullied him and his friends before.
Oh,
Yeah.
They bullied him and his friends before? I don't recall that.
Yeah, there's a scene where they steal their
those
lunch
are the ones
money,
who
comic
mugged
book
them.
money. Yeah.
Okay.
Just two racial stereotypes who are always hanging out in the same place, not getting arrested.
Yeah.
So
But he's in his suit with his baton, and basically immediately when he tries to stop them, he gets stabbed and then wanders into the street and gets hit by a car.
And that's a common motif in this movie, is that Kick-Ass sucks ass. He can't do shit in this movie.
He can't do a fucking thing.
I mean, he can bust. That's about it.
Yeah.
Oh, he can bust a nut like none other.
Yeah. To some hot MILF titties. So.
You should freaking smell
In real
his
life,
bedroom.
too. Yeah, in real life, yeah.
But
his 54-year-old wife.
apparently after being patched up, his nerve endings are less sensitive and he doesn't really feel pain anymore.
Yeah, less sensitive in his dick. That's why you don't see him jack off.
Which I kind of thought would be a more major plot point, but it's kind of just brought up in one scene and then never really addressed
Yeah, okay,
again.
so like an 18-year-old who gets busted up so bad that he needs to have like plates put in every single bone in his body isn't moving around like Kick-Ass does.
I don't think
person
he
is
needed to
borderline
have.
immobile.
I don't think he needed to have plates put in. It was just like his nerve endings weren't.
Well, no,
really
they talked about him. He's like,
anymore.
I'm like Wolverine now, and you see him with the X-ray, and you see all the plates on his legs and arms and stuff. So he's fucked up pretty bad. And someone like that wouldn't have the same kind of mobility that your average teenager would have.
Yeah.
He later tries to save a guy from some people that are chasing him and like kicking his ass while he's in his Kick-Ass costume, and Kick-Ass gets his ass kicked but he manages to stop them with his determination. And because the cops came by and the people who were like beating this random dude's ass up were like, we got to get the fuck out of here. But
yeah, and don't forget, people are filming this entire interaction.
But in this whole process, he is filmed, and it ends up going viral. And now Kick-Ass is famous. Yeah. And we kind of
fucking Craig Ferguson talk about him and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Craig Ferguson also uses like a slur.
He drops a nice little transphobic joke in there.
It was 2010, Jess. It was 2010.
Yeah, that was the time when like the minority that it was still okay to shit on was trans people. But
the minority it was. You mean it still is okay? Let's be honest.
You're
here.
thinking of Asian people.
Okay.
See, I remember Craig Ferguson being one of the good ones, but it turns out actually no. So
I thought Craig.
Well, fucking
Ferguson
even Jon
Craig
Stewart did
Kilborn,
shit. So.
and no, he's not either.
Well, thing,
Oh, Craig Kilborn.
But yeah, so he's on like Craig Ferguson, and we see like Frank D'Amico and like and McLovin watching it, and like Frank is like, like, look at this fucking kid trying to be a hero. And McLovin is like, hey, I think that's kind of cool, Dad. It's like a thing. It's like a costume. It's cool. And then we also see, Cage and Moretz just sitting there being like, oh, look at this fucking kid. Doesn't even know what he's fucking doing. He should name his name Ass Kicked because he's getting his ass kicked. He's not Kick-Ass.
The burn's so bad he felt it.
Mm-hmm. But either way, he's well known now. He was in a video which they said was the most in the movie. They said most viewed video of all time, and it had 22 million views.
Oh shit!
So and yeah,
3
years later,
2010 though.
This was 2010, but only 3 years later, I think Gangnam Style would have over 1 billion views. So
listen, YouTube grew a lot in 3 years too.
That is true. That is very true.
I really like.
This was a time of turbulent change for online media, but
yeah, it kind of makes you wish that Kick-Ass had the foresight when he was getting his ass kicked to be like, hey, sexy lady.
He should have had the foresight to start a Let's Play channel.
he's like, I'm here getting my ass kicked and doing a speed run of Mario 64.
Hey, it's guys, it's Kick-Ass, and he makes a bunch of rape jokes, and then he becomes really popular. So, and then he becomes a Nazi later on. So,
he always was a Nazi. He just
that's true. Yeah,
revealed himself.
I should say at this point that no one knows that Dave is Kick-Ass. He's still kept everything on the down low. No one knows his secret identity. But then, I think mostly because of his accident or something, but like the girl that he likes, who I think her name is Katie.
Yeah, Katie, yep.
She's the daughter from How I Met Your Mother.
Wait, really?
Yeah, what?
Oh, fuck. I didn't realize that was the same person. I never paid attention to any of those fucking...
Yeah, I mean,
the framing device segments in How I Met Your Mother. But,
yeah, I wasn't Googling the hot girl in high school either, so...
But yeah, no, she wants to hang out with him.
Yeah, she wants to hang out with him. She asks him on a coffee date at the comic book store that he's always hanging out at. So he agrees, but finds out there that she thinks he's gay. And she says some kind of homophobic stuff, like tokenizing him, saying, like, I always wanted a gay friend. Is that weird to say? And it's like, yeah, it is a little bit, but whatever. And he doesn't correct
He just plays
her.
along with it.
He just plays along with it because he just wants to be around her.
Which is pretty gay.
I just want to be your friend, and I know. Okay, he's crying. Of course, like, oh, look at this fucking. And I'm not gonna say the term because, of course, I'm not Craig Ferguson in 2010.
What are you gonna say? Farfetched? The
yeah,
Pokemon?
Farfetched. Yeah,
Look,
very
I'll say it.
much
I'm
so.
a faggot.
And I can say it too because I suck dick. Faggot. Yeah.
And I can say it because I'm quoting the Korn song. That's spelled wrong.
But he goes on a mission as Kick-Ass afterwards to get some guy who has been apparently demanding money from Katie because she does like needle exchange volunteer work, and I don't really understand how like this high school girl ended up getting involved with this fucking hardcore drug dealing.
Yeah,
dude.
well, so the thing is, like, I think the thing is that like he's a drug dealer and he's probably like getting money out of her like maybe like clients or patients or something like that, and maybe like she's like, oh, I'll give you money if like you leave us alone, maybe like there's some weird like extortion thing going on.
The connection is explained within like one sentence and it's never really brought up again.
Yeah, I think it's probably more like a protection thing, like leave my patients alone and I'll give you money, and then like she ran out of money and it's like, well,
oh yeah,
where's my money kind of thing. That's my best guess, but I'm like that really was not explained at all. It was weird.
But yeah, Katie still does not know that Dave is Kick-Ass. And so when Kick-Ass goes there, he ends up tasing that guy.
Right in the forehead.
Yeah, right in the fucking forehead.
Very close to just getting him right in the eyeballs.
Yeah. And basically all of his henchmen surround him and are about to fucking just murder him because he did that.
It's like a fucking trap house going on in there.
But
Chapo was there.
El Chapo or
Chrisman
Matt Chrisman was in the corner. Yeah.
But
and Felix was just fucking watching fucking Twitch streams while these people are nodding out.
Suddenly, a hit girl shows up and just kills the guy and all his henchmen, saving Kick-Ass.
With a fucking katana.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the pole staff with the blades at each end.
Oh, no, shit, you're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called either.
It's important for all the martial arts nerds out there.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's obviously very extremely difficult to use, and this 9-year-old girl can use it better than I can use my phone without dropping it.
Yeah, better than we can drive a car.
Yeah, this scene is super cool. So I could watch Hit Girl slaughter people for 2 hours.
She murders the fuck out of a bunch of people, and she misses one guy who's coming up on her from behind, but Cage, who's Big Daddy, is watching and shoots the guy, and he says baby girl, where do we always keep our back? And then she's to the wall.
And that's the thing, right, is that you talked about you could watch Hit Girl murder people all day. I'd watch any 9-year-old girl murder people.
Yeah.
I'd be totally fine with that. I think it'd be cool. Put on Live Leak and we can monetize it.
As long as they're wearing the purple wig, I'm fucking in, dude.
And I didn't really mention this before when it probably would have been opportune to do it, but I really love Cage and Hit Girl's dynamic in this thing.
They have really good on-screen chemistry.
Yeah,
they really do.
How they're having dad-daughter conversations and shit like that, but it's about weapons and how to effectively use them. And
yeah, they have a very good. They have a very good working relationship, and Dan Schneider had a very good romantic relationship with her later on.
Is that the Nickelodeon guy? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, they were certainly the most interesting aspect of this movie.
We realize here that Big Daddy and Hit Girl are the real deal. They fucking slaughter mobsters. They're good at what they do. They can actually jump buildings like Kick-Ass dreams of doing. And pretty soon after, when Kick-Ass gets home, Big Daddy and Hit Girl, who are Cage and Hit Girl, but they find Kick-Ass at his home and tell him that he's way too easy to find, and he needs to change the IP address on his website and do some basic.
Yeah. Well, guess what? A little bit of irony there for later on.
When you said that they kind of represent what Kick-Ass wishes he could be, and I would say same for me because they're fucking stealing all that coke all the time, baby. Give me some of that smack.
I'm in love with the coke.
Oh, absolutely.
So both of these Cage movies involve a lot of coke.
We watched several Nick Cage movies that Nick Cage is always stealing and loving a lot of cocaine.
Yeah, and putting it wherever.
Yes, wherever.
But when they find him in his home, and he says he's thinking of quitting. He doesn't really want to do this anymore. But they say hey, you've got potential, kid. You just got to work on it. And then they tell
Kick-Ass goes I can quit whenever I want. God.
And they tell him how to get a hold of them if he ever needs to. In the following couple scenes, too, we also see that Frank D'Amico, mob boss man, has paid off several higher-ups in the NYPD. Frank ends up becoming convinced that it is Kick-Ass stealing their coke, to the point where he sees a guy dressed as Kick-Ass walking down the street and just pulls over and fucking murders the dude.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
beats the fuck out of him and then shoots him in the head. Which, by the way, I will say, is it Frank D'Amico? Is that his name?
Yes.
It's a great fucking villain.
Oh yeah.
A really good villain.
Yeah, he's spooky, and I can't remember the name of the actor who plays him, but it's the guy that I always think is Stanley Tucci, but it's not. So,
way better than literally 90% of villains in actual superhero movies.
Yeah.
He's a great fucking villain.
Wish he would have killed a Deadpool or two.
Pissed about Kick-Ass, Frank is just ranting and angry, and McLovin presents to his father a plan to get Kick-Ass by posing as a superhero so you can draw him in, and the superhero is going to be named Red Mist. So they work together to frame another mob member
Did they name him after a potential Mountain Dew flavor? Just curious.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
it was actually a Faygo flavor.
Fair enough, yeah. Oh, I mean, let's face it, McLovin in real life would be a fucking juggalo.
Yeah, I mean...
Not even a question.
They throw another mob member under the bus, saying that he's been busted by Red Mist, McLovin's new superhero alter ego, just to get him attention and get him on the national news, so that Kick-Ass will contact him. And indeed, Kick-Ass sees all the media attention that Red Mist is getting. He gets jealous, he gets in contact, and they meet up. So Red Mist ends up taking him to a mob warehouse where, you know, the mob is waiting to grab Kick-Ass and kill him and beat his ass under the guise of fighting crime together. And when they arrive, the whole warehouse is on fire. And it seems that Big Daddy has already been there.
Shit.
Because this is a mob-owned warehouse. McLovin basically had set up a nanny cam there so that he could put on the internet Kick-Ass's unmasking. And the mob, like, reviews that footage and finally sees Big Daddy and is onto him now.
A little funny Easter egg, and it only is there for like a second, but when you see the videos, the top three, because like 4 videos, and there's like the bottom one is the footage from the warehouse, but the top 3 are his nanny showering.
Yes, I did see that in there. I didn't bring it up initially, but I thought that was funny. That was a nice little fucking Easter egg.
I mean, of course, you're perfect. You think it's funny when women get like harassed without their knowledge.
Okay, fuck off. Well, I'm thinking about the concept if it's a nanny cam and a teddy bear. Like, who would think that a teddy bear in a shower is normal? But
maybe she finds comfort in showering with a teddy bear. Well, who are
Do you
to
not
say?
have a shower time bear?
I don't, frankly.
Okay.
Well, the only time I had a shower time bear, well, I mean, he ran out on me. But
Listen, I paid 3 easy payments of $19.99 back in the mid '90s to get that fucking shower teddy. So.
Oh yeah, with the camera, spy cam.
But so afterwards, Dave is like, I'm going to show up to Katie's place in the Kick-Ass costume because, you know, what's the difference between Peter Parker and Spider-Man? Spider-Man gets the girl.
Which I will always say a really good move, fellas, is to sneak into a woman's place without her knowledge in a costume that she's not entirely familiar with without saying her identity and then creeping up on her.
Yeah,
just very, very cool thing for a guy to do. And the more you do it, the more likely the woman is to immediately get on her knees and suck you off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she obviously fucking kicks his ass because he just creeped in there.
Well, so,
like
the thing I just said
shit.
about creeping up on a woman in a costume, that's actually how you get WAP.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You do it. That's why Ben Shapiro can never do, because he hates Halloween. He can't wear costumes.
Also, I found it very strange that in the scene where he's creeping up on her, she is looking in a mirror but not seeing him directly behind her.
Yeah, I don't fucking understand it.
Well, she does it like the last second.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know, but he's occasionally a vampire.
But he takes off the mask and says, it's me. I'm Kick-Ass. Me, Dave, is Kick-Ass. And also, I'm not gay. And instead of being reasonably upset like an individual would be that you had like betrayed their trust for this whole time,
She sucks him off again.
Yeah, she immediately is like, oh, no, I thought you were hot the entire time, so I'm going to fuck you anyways.
Yeah.
Which is a very normal thing that every woman does. Because that's the thing, women love men who lie about who they are.
They love liars, and especially vigilante liars.
I don't know if you know, but this movie was written by a Elliot. Fuck, I don't know who this movie's written by.
He's a super nice guy, but
Yeah, Alec Manassian, I think this movie's written by.
Onision.
This movie's written by Onion Son. Yes.
But yeah, they end up fucking. And then in the next scene, we see like Cage and Moretz begin preparing to kill Frank because they have learned that Frank is onto them. They order a jetpack and install some Gatling guns on it. Sick. Cool. But at the same time, Kick-Ass is drawn into one last meeting with Red Mist. This is going to be his last thing he does before he retires from
He's like,
Kick-Ass
one more
altogether.
fucking deal.
He's like,
One more
fucking
fucking
job.
deal. One more fucking time.
And
Yeah, New York City, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
McLovin is doing this because he needs to find out who Big Daddy is for his big boss man dad because he wants so badly to get his father's approval. And basically, McLovin gets Kick-Ass to contact Big Daddy and Hit Girl by saying that there is a price on both Red Mist and Kick-Ass's heads and they need some help from some real deal Holyfield people. And at the meetup, Big Daddy and Kick-Ass are basically immediately captured, but Hit Girl escapes after being shot by Red Mist and falling out the window. She is, of course, still wearing her bulletproof vest.
Does she get shot by Red Mist? I thought she gets shot by like one of his henchmen.
No. He walks in, and the first thing that happens is he pulls out his gun and fucking shoots
Oh shit!
her.
I didn't notice that. All right, fuck.
Yeah.
What a fucking bitch.
Yeah, cover blown pretty much right away.
So now that they're captured, the mobsters begin to basically, under the guise of Kick-Ass being revealed, start a live stream where they just torture Big Daddy and Kick-Ass right on there.
Yeah, they air on national television.
Oh yeah, they start airing the live stream on national television, which is a little weird, but
Yeah, and also I thought it was funny that I guess 2010 again was a different time, but instead of watching this online, a lot of people are just watching it being broadcast on the news, and then when the news stops because it gets too violent, they're like, "Oh fuck, we can't watch it anymore." Go fucking on your computer and watch. Why are you watching in a diner?
Also, what mainstream news site is showing any live stream footage in 2010?
Yeah, especially
that didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
While they're getting tortured, Hit Girl comes in and she manages to save Kick-Ass, but throughout the fight, Cage ends up being burned alive by the mobsters. But as he's burning, he's giving Kit Kat.
He's getting Kit Kat Girl, yeah.
As he's burning, he gives Hit Girl some advice on how to kill the mobsters, yelling in his cage way like, "No, you gotta get them in your sights!"
Yeah, it's
and it's kind of funny.
You bitch! Killing them won't bring me back.
But I don't know, it's oddly kind of touching. And the scene where she says goodbye to him as he's like slowly dying after she puts him out on fire. You know, I felt oddly kind of touching.
No, it was a really sweet scene. It was a really sweet scene, and in fact, when Hit Girl was killing all the mob men and he got set on fire, there was actually a line that was cut, and he said, someone's trying to kill me, man.
So Cage dies. Hit Girl is obviously pissed. Kick-Ass is like, everything's fucking over, man. Like, this is all fucked up. Everything we thought we knew, it's over. How about you come stay at my place? We'll figure something out. But Hit Girl is like, I'm gonna fucking avenge my dad. And Kick-Ass is like, well, I gotta help out, right?
Yeah.
So
he's like, I'm responsible for your dad dying. Nah, I'm gonna be too much of a pussy to help. No, of course he's not. He's cool as shit. He's gonna help out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he fucking... total cringe moment when he's like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be alive. And she's like, well, if it wasn't for you, my dad wouldn't be dead.
That honestly wasn't. That was kind of a cringe line, but it wasn't that bad.
I don't know. I didn't think that was that cringe.
No, I think it was cringe to be Kick-Ass in that situation.
Yes,
oh no, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just like, hey, thanks for saving my life, and she's like, hey, thanks for making me a fucking orphan, prick.
Orphan again.
Orphan times 2.
I didn't even know you could be an orphan more than once. That's like double jeopardy for being an orphan.
So Hit Girl shows the
jetpack.
Yeah, she shows the jetpack to Kick-Ass and is like, you better start fucking learning this because I'm going to need you to show up there. And then she goes out, she murders the fuck out of like 15 guys in Frank D'Amico's building, just fucking...
Yeah, his fucking bomb-ass penthouse.
Yeah,
you know, honestly,
murders them.
There's a scene where she's dressed up like the schoolgirl and she's going into the building. I literally thought there was going to be like a pedophile reference there. Like, I thought that guy was
That's where it
guarding
started for a lot of people.
Yeah, oh, well, absolutely. But I'm definitely... I thought like the guy was like, oh, hey, little girl. I thought there was going to be like a real Bryan Singer moment. I'm glad they didn't go that direction.
Well, there's a guy who's a famous like stalker of Chloe Grace Moretz, and I couldn't help but see that scene and be like, "Oh God, this is where it started for that fuck."
Did you see that scene of them like she's eating in a mall restaurant? And there's that picture.
He takes a picture and doesn't know the flash is on, and it's like a picture of her shocked.
Yeah, and everybody is staring. It is so cringe, dude. I'll show you the picture later. It's fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's bad.
And that's the thing, though, is that, like, you know for a fact he watched Kick-Ass a million times.
Yeah, exactly.
For pure reasons.
So, yeah, basically delete this movie. 1 star.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know any of that, and I wish I didn't. But
well, too bad, bitch.
Hey, we're calling out pedophiles here, baby.
Yeah, we're making fun of all pedophiles.
Once she kills all of those dudes, she runs out of ammo, and there's still like 4 henchmen left, and she's trapped. She's about to be killed when the lead henchman runs in with a bazooka
that he had stolen from Big Daddy and Hit Girl earlier in the movie when they got captured
from them. And he's about to shoot the bazooka, but Kick-Ass shows up in the jetpack and just fucking finishes the rest of them, just blasting them.
The one good thing Kick-Ass does in this movie.
Yeah, the one thing he does that that actually helps. Aside from that guy who's getting his ass kicked, I guess he did save them by getting his ass kicked.
I know, but like the one actual Kick-Ass moment he had in this movie, though. Like, other than that, he just gets his fucking shit wrecked all the time.
It's true.
Yeah, this movie should be called Kick-Ass at the end.
But I do love... In the next scene, we see Frank and McLovin, who are waiting for their henchmen to finish off Hit Girl. You see them, they're like, all right, she's gone. And they high five, and they're like, that is one weird sounding bazooka. I thought that was funny. Oh, that was fucking great. I don't know. Just a fucking minigun went off. But Kick-Ass and Hit Girl charge into the room. Kick-Ass and Red Mist square off against one another. Hit Girl and Frank square off against one another. Kick-Ass manages to stop Red Mist just barely. They like knock each other out.
They do that like double KO thing going on.
Yeah,
it's honestly a pretty funny moment.
It is pretty funny. They knock each other out, but Kick-Ass comes to first. And runs into the room where Frank is about to finish Hit Girl because Frank is a skilled tactician. He's been training a lot, so has Hit Girl.
Yeah, he has his like own dojo in the penthouse that he like practices like kung fu in.
But yeah, and he's using that to fucking fight Hit Girl.
Yes, to beat up a 9-year-old girl. Very moral.
But he's about to shoot Hit Girl in the head when Kick-Ass shows up and he picks up the bazooka and shoots fucking Frank out the window on the missile, and then it explodes in the middle, like in the air between two towers on fucking in New York City.
I wish it had exploded and actually hit both of those two towers.
Call Oliver Stone into the fucking building, baby.
Well, I don't know if you know, this movie was actually filmed during when that Nick Cage 9/11 movie was being shot.
Yeah, he was wearing his firefighter outfit right under the Batman suit.
Yeah, and there's actually a moment in the movie where you see like an explosion go off in the sky while he's like running to like stop 9/11 from happening.
Yeah,
and they're interconnected universes.
Yeah, actually, Kick-Ass actually caused 9/11.
You know, he keeps getting compared to Batman, but I think he actually looks like the owl. What is it, Night Owl from Watchmen?
He really does. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think he looks dead ass almost exactly like him.
But no one knows what the Watchmen is. They all know who Batman is. Come on, Jess.
And I thought it was a strange artistic choice to give Red Mist a honkin' blue penis.
Kick-Ass and Hit Girl head home on the jetpack, and Red Mist is still alive after he wakes up and he vows revenge against them. And
he wears like a fucking like BDSM mask at the end, right? It's like grates and stuff like that.
I don't remember that exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking Mick Thompson from Slipknot a little bit.
He's got a ball gag, but the ball is a grenade.
Yeah. That'd actually be a pretty cool costume. I'm doing that shit.
That'd be sick.
Moretz begins to go to school with Kick-Ass, now in the care of Cage's former partner, Marcus, the one, the cop who was good because he didn't turn in a vigilante. He only just probably killed innocent people.
Well, that's the thing that we all have to have a good... I mean, there are some good cops out there, and he's one of the good cops.
He's one of the good ones. I mean, there's many good ones.
Yeah. And we're not saying that because he's black. We're saying that because he also took a doubled orphan into his care.
Mm-hmm. How can cops be racist if some of them are black? So
that is how white supremacy works. So
yep.
And it looks like apparently new superheroes are popping up and populating all over the city and the world.
And all getting fucking murdered on their first time stopping crime. So good job, Kick-Ass. You led to several teenagers getting murdered by gangs.
But
including the police are one of them.
the big gang and the official one of the United States, official gang of the United States Police Department. That's the whole plot department.
That's the whole plot. It's the whole plot. New York Police Department. That's the whole plot synopsis of this film.
Yes. Overall thoughts, everybody.
I like this movie a lot. This movie is really fun. There was not really a whole lot of dull moments, and it was really funny. And even though, of course, the idea of a 9-year-old girl just going on murdering and swearing is kind of like an old trick after a pretty short amount of time, it's still charming enough to where I accept it and don't think it's cringy.
I feel you there.
And
honestly,
also, Nick Cage's performance is really fucking good in this movie. I think he does a fantastic job. He's my favorite character, honestly.
I definitely agree with both things you said there, actually, because I remember seeing this movie a lot in high school, and I kind of had gotten bored of it because, frankly, I'd seen it so many times, and I think I was comparing it to Scott Pilgrim, which I do like Scott Pilgrim a bit more than this movie, although I'll probably have to go back and watch Scott Pilgrim again sometime soon and see how I feel at this point. But I'd say the first half is all right, but it's kind of typical team drama stuff that even in my high school years, I never really connected with team drama type things, or not team drama.
Yeah,
even team
there's a reason why I didn't connect with teen drama, because I was really cool and got laid all the time. That's why I was like, I'm too cool for this.
Yeah, and my mantra is pretty much no drama. No drama. So,
but I think the second half is where it really picks up and really gets good.
Oh, I agree. That's where the majority of the good action is.
But and I also agree. I think Cage and Moretz are far and away the best parts of this movie, frankly. Their chemistry is great. They're really fun to watch. They're funny. And, I really enjoy them in there. And I was genuinely sad to see Cage die, even though I knew that was going to happen.
What's even funny about it, too, is that even though the movie's called Kick-Ass, he's probably, the worst part of this movie, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, yeah, all of the surrounding bits are better than Kick-Ass himself.
Yeah. I even like Red Mist as a character better. He's honestly a much more what's the word I'm looking for, like a fucking multifaceted character than Kick-Ass is. Because Kick-Ass is just a dorky kid who just gets his ass kicked all the time. Whereas Red Mist is kind of multifaceted. 40. He's kind of a psycho, but he also doesn't want to be a piece of shit, and then he becomes a piece of shit forcibly by his dad. He's a kind of a multifaceted character.
Mm-hmm. He's just looking up to his dad, and his dad's a piece of shit, and it kind of molds him into a piece of shit by accident.
And he doesn't even want to be a piece of shit. He just wants to be a normal kid, but he's forced to be a piece of shit by the end of it. Whereas Kick-Ass is just he doesn't have any character arc, to be honest.
When I first saw this movie, I didn't care for it. And it wasn't for the reasons that all the boomers on Amazon didn't like it. I just, I don't know, I just didn't like it that much. And it breaks my heart to say that, in the words of Social Distortion, I was wrong. And that can we just in post put a little clip of I was wrong in there, just 1 second of it, and then
I'll do that. I'll also leave the part where you request that,
and
the part where I tell you that I'm going to leave the part where you request that. No, I'm sorry.
And we're gonna leave in the part where I also say good movie.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. I agree with you. Hitman and Bat Dad were by far and away the best characters in this movie.
Hitmonchan is my favorite character in this movie.
Hitmonchan and Bat Dad Lee. And so my
Butterfree's a great character too.
My only real gripe with this movie is that I just want more Hit Girl and less Kick-Ass.
Well, there is a sequel,
and I said to my girlfriend who's a fan of this movie what I just said, and she said, "Well, then that's what the second one's about." But I've heard the second one fucking sucks, so maybe that's not what I want. And
I have heard the second one sucks a massive dookie. So
there's no Cage
I never
in it.
saw that movie.
There is no Nick Cage in it either, so there's automatically 50% less charm.
Oh yeah.
I'd agree with you there. I actually found myself enjoying this a lot more now than I did back in the day watching it, which is a strange thing. I felt like back in the day maybe it was trying to, it was trying to pander to a high school audience a little too much, and I was a cynical asshole back then and not willing to accept anything like that. But now with age and reservation, I can look back on that and be like, yeah, actually it did a good job at what it was trying to do.
And talked about pander to a high school audience. I think it's a little bit more self-aware of a high school audience though.
True.
It's definitely not pandering to a high school audience like fucking Fast Times did. Way better than that. At least there wasn't child rape.
Yeah, there
was child murder.
There's a scene where Hit Girl gives her phone number to a 26-year-old.
I thought her simulated blowjob on a carrot was kind of odd. But,
oh my god, no!
Yeah. Actually, that wasn't a carrot. That was an orange Glock that Bat Dad was making her suck on.
Listen, Chloe Grace Moretz, if you ever listen to this show, I'm sorry you had a creepy stalker. I'm so sorry.
I'll kill that guy.
I would kill that guy too, honestly.
You do not deserve that.
I will defend your honor, my lady, and I hope you hear this.
Yeah, and go on a date with Mike.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but I mean, if you want,
or I was gonna, you don't have to, but Chloe, you're a great actress, so you want to hang out sometime.
When I saw you in Suspiria, I thought I don't even freaking care about whatever else is happening, even though I don't really.
Yeah, so when I saw you in the Carrie remake, I was like, this movie sucks, but you're still pretty cute. I'll be honest.
Oh my gosh! If you would say my name just once,
please.
Anyways, I think that's probably all we have about Kick-Ass. We'll get back to you with Zandalee soon. And
no, wait. Do we have some Amazon reviews?
Oh my god.
I have notes.
Oh yeah, and we had.
I thought I was.
Look, I forgot about all of the other aspects of the show. Okay?
Jess doesn't give a shit about shit. Dave, do you have a description for us?
I do actually.
Let's hear it.
This motherfucker's gonna
Kick-Ass
steal my
is a 2000 American biographical film directed by Steven Soderbergh and written by Susanna Grant. The film is a dramatization of the true story of Aaron Brockovich, portrayed by Nicolas Cage, who fought against the energy corporation Pacific Gas and Electric Company regarding its culpability for the Hinckley groundwater contamination incident. The film was a box office success and a critical reaction was positive.
Okay.
That's, I mean,
It's a pretty accurate
couldn't
descriptor.
have said it better myself. Good job, Dave.
Good
Hey,
work.
thanks.
You done did it.
I was paying close attention this time, so I thought, it
I
might
mean, I can
show.
tell.
You did a great fucking job.
I feel like I just watched the movie again.
I appreciate. It's really a compliment to you guys. I mean, I wouldn't have noticed all of those details if it weren't for the in-depth nature of the show. So, pat yourselves on the back for that one. I think it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you just for praising me and these others too. You get to stay on a little bit longer. I think.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
just talk me up.
We'll
I like that.
renew your contract if you keep saying stuff like that, for sure.
Of course. I really like the camaraderie.
Yeah, and one thing that this movie was missing was hacking.
Well, he said camaraderie, more like camaraderie. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Talk about a
Hacking, you
comrade.
say?
Camaraderie. CUMRODD.
I do have some reviews here. Some very upset people.
I wonder why they'd be upset about this movie. Could you explain a little bit?
Yeah, so let's get right into it. Kelly Beckett says in a review titled "Purely Horrid." Sickly distorted using a child in gruesome scenes and disgusting killings. Half star is too high. Wasted my time. I couldn't watch the whole movie. Ugh.
How many Uggs were there? Just one Ugg?
It's one Ugg, but it's kind of it's 1.5 Uggs.
Well, if
really.
you've only
There's
got
also not that many Uggs, though, because we've seen a couple. We've seen, up to, 3 or 4
Yeah,
Uggs?
like a sustained Ugg.
Yeah,
But-
it's like Nick Cage in Deadfall when he says fuck for, 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
if you've only got one Ugg, then you've only got one ugly boot. That's not even a full pair.
You have
Yeah.
one half a pair of, was it juicy fucking pink sweatpants? Yeah. That'd be a good look for you, Jess, by the way. Just one Ugg.
Get some fucking
It's some fucking
juicy sweatpants and Uggs.
Yeah, was it juicy sweatpants and one Ugg? You look like a fucking white trash homeless.
Oh yeah, you also got to get the worst spray tan that you could possibly get.
But it's a half a spray tan, so the eyes are still white, and it looks like she's got vitiligo, but for tan.
Well, she's got one Ugg and she's got one Reebok with straps. All we need is some apple-bottom jeans and the baggy sweatpants, and the whole club will be looking at her.
Honestly, we should start a whole subsection of this podcast where Taylor and I tell women how they should dress to be more thoughty and attractive to us. So,
I'd be
We'll
so
put
down
that next
for
to
that.
the Cage Style Report, which I keep forgetting to bring
Yeah,
back.
listen, ladies. This is the WAP style guide. This will get your
This
WAP
is-
really WAP.
hey, you want to get my attention? Here's what you should be doing.
Oh, Christ.
Hey, Olivia, listen to this episode.
Got a review from Amazon customer who says, "Gross. We get it. You beat off." And I don't know if that's too kick-ass or the audience. But
It's to that guy who stalked
Listen,
Chloe Moretz.
Are you sure this review wasn't written upon Zandalee?
it might have been. But like I said, 2 very sexy movies, so it could be either.
Oh my god, that was the entire review.
That was the entire review. I have a review from Eric, who I think engineered an episode of this podcast. And Eric says, "A foul-mouthed little girl killing people is funny? Once I saw what the movie was really about, I couldn't watch anymore."
That's on brand for Eric.
Yeah, real prude when it comes to little girl violence, which I feel like, kill whoever you want.
Yeah, fuck it. It's 2020.
Yeah,
I think as long as you do it
want.
consensually with one party involved, that's all that matters.
yeah, if they consent.
It's current year.
It's current year.
Listen, as long as the
And we
murderer
live in a
consents,
society.
as long as the murderer consents to murdering people, what's wrong?
Yeah. Glenda Reynolds says, Maybe view this movie with the volume muted. Whew, hot start.
Damn.
And Glenda says, we weren't expecting so many F-bombs in this movie. We watched about 10 minutes of it and then it went into the garbage. It's a shame because I was looking forward to watching the whole movie. Leave it to the British who think nothing of this kind of dialogue.
What? Wait, what? Aaron, whose name shall not be repeated, is British. That's the only thing I can... And also the main bad guy, Frank D'Amico, is British.
And the little girl says cunts, which is a British word.
Okay.
Obviously written by British people.
But still, that connection is a little dubious there.
Yeah.
As in you smoke 2 doobies, and then you got the connection.
Gotta smoke that reef.
I got a review from Donna M. Bryant. Donna says, 1 star, it was pretty rude and strange. So Donna didn't like it.
Wait, that's a review?
No.
All these reviews are so short.
Don't worry, I'll get to. I got a really long one here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, not yet. I have a couple more from sad people. Sandra L. Thornton says nothing good to say about it. Almost every sentence had F word, which is totally unnecessary and juvenile. I usually send DVDs to the troops, but this one is being thrown away.
Wait, was that a sister of Billy Bob?
That was that's Billy Bob's sister Sandra Lobb Thornton, and she sends movies to the troops.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have learned a few tips from Hit Girl in this
New
one.
Age
So.
Bob Hope.
Yeah, honestly, because they're really bad at doing war. Because the American military is fucking awful.
They're really good at war crimes, though.
They're really good. That is true.
This woman actually might have created some new conflict by preventing our troops from watching the instructional video Kick-Ass 2010. I got a review from Matt who says, I couldn't see it. And Matt says, I was in an emergency that day and I couldn't even start the movie. Sorry, the next time I'm going to take some time to finish. 1 star.
It's not even the movie's fault.
Holy shit.
Why did he even write a fucking review? Hey, give him a break. He had an emergency.
Okay, so first off, that beats out the broken DVD reviews, because that one's nobody's fault but your own.
It's not on the product. It's not on Amazon.
It might not be his fault. Something came up, obviously.
Well, you had no one to blame. It wasn't even the person who sent you a faulty DVD or no DVD. That's your fault.
Yeah. Sorry to Matt. This was 7 years ago. Actually, almost to the day. To the day!
Oh, shit.
7 years ago today, this review was written.
He should have the 7-year itch to re-review his
and
review.
It's the 7-year anniversary of his emergency.
Oh my
All
God.
I can say is I hope he's found some time to kick back and watch a film.
Kick back and kick ass. So he should be doing. That is the best review I've ever seen.
Well, wait till you hear this
Oh my
one.
God.
Oh, I'm so ready.
This is a review from someone who says the people who made this film are the sickest people alive.
Okay, well, let's go for it.
They say sick and twisted beyond belief. The film really attacks different racial groups. The way the good guys kill them, they torture and kill these people in slow, sadistic ways. They get cut up. No one deserves to die like that. The body count. The lust for blood. In one movie, one little girl has more confirmed kills than The Terminator, Die Hard, Scarface, and John Wayne Gacy combined. Famous
No,
characters,
objectively no. But sorry.
famous characters, The Terminator, Die Hard, and John Wayne Gacy.
Yes,
How many people did Die Hard kill again?
we love Mr. Die Hard.
Yeah, he's super, super cool.
Related to Mr. Trapped, I bet.
I will say, I think already John Wayne Gacy killed more people than she did in this movie.
Oh, objectively, yeah.
And so this next part is in all caps. Little girl has confirmed kills. She doesn't just shoot people either. Her victims are cuffed, crushed until their organs explode, and strangled until they die. Other victims are assaulted and tortured. It's not cartoon-like. I saw this deranged film. Now the image of a little girl coming up behind a man and cutting him open will never leave my mind. Then she chops off another man's leg, impales him through the ribs, pinning him to the floor. She smiles in satisfaction as she leans on the blade. He suffers and bleeds at her feet. She's only begun. She uses medieval European weapons meant to chop off limbs, disembowel, and pull the intestines out of an enemy. The horrifying attacks are done blitz assassination style. A young man around 20 years old exits the bathroom. She shows him the knife trick and puts a blade in his stomach. An adult woman enters the room. She's horrified to find her friends lying dead on the floor. The little girl furiously stabs the frightened woman in the chest multiple times with a large kitchen knife. Then she puts her dead body on display. Her father is an organized psychopathic serial killer who, in a demented state, dresses up as Batman at night. This Batman kills daily and encourages his young daughter to kill. He gives her weapons so she can play. A father turning his 11-year-old daughter into a mass murderer is an outrage. She uses night vision goggles, giving her a critical advantage when committing mass murder at night. She cuffs a man and puts him in a car crusher. Now helpless, he sputters and tries to talk his way out of a nasty death. In a sadistic act, the man is slowly crushed to death. Her father looks on with approval. She hurls insults at him as he dies horribly. She lures her victims close by pretending to be a poor, lost little girl. When the person stops to help, she pulls out a concealed gun and shoots them in the head. The message of this film is, killing strangers is fun, it'll give you a thrill.
Holy shit.
Okay, so
for
the person
someone
who wrote that
disliked this, they really loved writing an extreme detail.
This-
Must have been therapeutic.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1 star.
By the way, what you didn't know is that while the person was writing that, they were furiously masturbating the entire time. That really strikes me as like oh yeah, and then he fucking like cuffed him to the car and wouldn't even let him
Never
leave.
leave my mind. He was crushed while she hurled insults at him.
I've never heard someone who
That
hates something
is-
so much
wow.
supposedly describe it in such visceral detail.
I hope whatever maximum security prison they wrote that review from is keeping them in solitary confinement right now.
Yeah, that person.
You know who wrote that review? Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, wrote that review for prison.
It sounds like somebody who really hates Aaron Brockovich.
They really hate Aaron Brockovich, but they love binding, torturing, and killing.
Yeah. They also have Aaron, whose name shall not be named, because he fucks a
Brockovich.
teenage girl in this movie. So.
Yeah, I mean, but he is also a teenager. But still not a pass for me.
Yeah, 17-year-olds should not be fucking 17-year-olds. I'm sorry.
So the person who wrote that review, hope you're doing okay. That was 4 years ago. You could be dead.
They probably killed themselves in a fucking shootout with the police because they found their stash of bodies somewhere.
Also, everything that they had a problem with was specifically related to Hit Girl doing it. Like, there's no mention of, like, a guy exploding in an oven in this movie.
Yeah, or a guy getting his fucking pinky cut off, or a teenage boy getting stabbed and then run over by a fucking car.
Yeah.
None of that shit. It's only about Hit Girl doing it.
Yeah, so you can pretty much kill strangers as much as you want as long as you are of age.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
of age.
I feel like
should
if,
say
if you're like legal age of adult, age of majority, killing people is perfectly okay, and that's what this guy believes, and that's why he does it all the time. Clearly, he's deranged as shit.
Yeah.
I will say something that I didn't. None of us really mentioned in this movie, and I think possibly because I'm pretty desensitized to movie violence at this point. But this is a very gory movie.
It really is a pretty violent movie, and I'm fine with it, obviously. But it is a very violent movie. I mean, there's no, like you said, this movie is rated R, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
and,
absolutely, this movie is rated R, like no question.
Yeah, and to be honest, I love put as much fucking violence in a movie as you possibly can.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Well, it's rare to see something this gory that isn't a slasher movie, basically.
Yeah. I mean, this
or a
movie is,
Tarantino movie.
this movie's kind of a slasher movie if you think about it, because like the horrors of fucking reality.
Yeah, I mean, basically a slasher because this deranged 11-year-old girl is a mass murderer in an outrage. So basically worse than Michael Myers. Certainly worse than John Gacy in Die Hard.
Mr. Die Hard absolutely did a lot of fucking murdering. So
John Die Hard.
God. Well, on that note, I think that's all we have about Kick-Ass this time for real.
And speaking of violence and murder, next we're going to be talking about
Zandalee.
Zandalee.
But we'll be back to you with that right after this break. So, bye-bye. Well, hello and welcome back. This is Cage Fight. Now we are talking to you about Zandalee, returning champion from episode 5. I want to say it's 5. I don't recall for certain, but it did in fact go up against Left Behind. You'll find it somewhere in there.
Yeah, weird how the worst movie won because like Left Behind was pretty fucking solid.
And you're talking about solid fucking movies and things that make me solid. Let's talk about Zandalee.
Zandalee came out in 1991. It was rated R.
Why?
For obvious reasons, but it was originally rated NC-17.
They did have to take out the carrot sucking scene though.
It was directed by Sam Pillsbury, who, while directing this, like, repeatedly got poked on the dick and went,
Sam Pillsbury, what is this, the Doughboys podcast? Come on.
We'll talk about doughy things. Zandalee's fucking fat cunt in this movie, you know? It's too much of a porker for me, let me tell you.
She is wide, dude.
Look, no, I'm not going to stand for this. Zandalee is a beautiful woman.
She is so beautiful, and I looked her up on Instagram today, and she is still so beautiful. I want to marry her,
that's the thing.
Hang out with Wayne Coyne.
Zandalee might be beautiful, but her personality is extremely ugly.
Hey,
her personality
that's what
is kind of toxic.
Ugly like me.
This was produced by Electric Pictures because the fucking sexuality in this is fucking electric.
It's electrifying.
Yeah, and it kickstarted my friggin' heart.
104-minute runtime. This did not have a budget or box office gross available, so it did go into the red, but y'all already knew that.
All of our
because
dutiful listeners know that for a fact. So.
Rotten Tomatoes, this has a 33% from the critics and a 29% from audience.
How? How does it have that high of a rating?
Look, frankly, yes, the critics rate this higher than the audiences, which is almost strange because I assume the audience would rate it highly because they probably rented this and
like about the pussy and dick and ass and
like to look at boobs.
Titties,
yeah.
And there's a lot of bush in this movie too.
There's a lot of bush, and it's not even like arts. It tries to be artsy, but it's really
really gratuitous.
It's not. And I do have to say, because I'm scrolling past my notes, this movie was filmed originally under the title Adios, Terry.
Yeah. I think we mentioned that in the last episode, but it's also the only thing I copied over from my notes because that's so funny.
Like, way to spoil the entire fucking movie.
They're like, we got to use one character's name, but what if we were like, bye, Terry?
Yeah.
I
probably pronounced it wrong in the last
No, it's Thierry.
No, they say
Tyrion.
Thierry, but like apparently, I think the proper way to say it, because it's the way it's repeated the most, is Terry.
Terry.
Yeah.
My name is
you gotta
Terry.
pronounce it like
My
you
name
are
is Judge Reinhold, and I am Terry.
You have to pronounce it like you're doing an offensive French accent.
I don't fuck with French shit. Fuck that. America first.
But I'm
Y'all
gonna
want to
launch.
speak French? Say fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Fuck.
And I will say there's one bit of trivia is that this is the only movie that Tommy Wiseau watched to get his inspiration for The Room.
Yeah. He basically looked at Nicolas Cage's ass and said, I want that to be on my ass.
And if you'll recall, like I believe Tommy Wiseau is probably a Nick Cage fan because like he did watch Sunny. If you'll recall from that episode, or if you haven't listened to it, that goes against The Wicker Man, so that's a pretty good one.
Good plug.
Yeah, apparently he watched that, and that's what made him okay with James Franco playing him.
Talk about things that are going to get plugged.
Yeah, there's some definite Tommy Wiseau inspiration feel to this, and and a lot of it, I feel like you're definitely on point with saying that he has to be a Nick Cage fan, which has me waiting for the Nick Cage movie where he like fucks a girl in the belly button.
I feel like that movie's already happened. We just haven't watched it yet.
That's true. I mean, like I was you really the sex scenes between Nicolas Cage and Zandalee in this movie are very reminiscent of Tommy Wiseau and Lisa in The Room, and
yes,
it's just weird to see him like.
They're actually a little bit hotter, though. I'll give it that.
And it's only because of Nick Cage.
It's because of Nick Cage. Less of a goblin, I guess.
Yeah.
Yo, I went and did some other shit. Have we talked about his nutsack yet?
We'll get to his nutsack. Yeah.
So a short little plot summary here. So Zandalee is married to Terry, a former poet who now runs his father's like communications business. I assume that's something about phones or maybe
he talks on the
internet.
phone.
Yeah. But she's feeling unsatisfied in her marriage with Terry, who is Judge Reinhold.
Because of. Is he impotent, or can he is he not attracted to her anymore?
I think he is just more focused on the success of his father's business, and he's kind of lost touch with his old artistic side. And he also, so he's not focusing quite as much on his romance and love marriage because he's got this new.
He's frankly just not just fucking stuffing Zandalee all the time, and she can't handle it.
You say that he lost his artistic side,
like at all.
In the first scene of this movie, he cuts himself shaving and says to Zandalee, "I cut myself, blood of the fox for the hunt."
He does talk really pretentiously a lot.
He does. He says that. I cut myself today. It's an emo version of the Johnny Cash song.
But
well, I mean, 9 Inch Nails, but yes.
The BPD version. But apologies to people with mental disorders. But
no trigger warnings, you're pussies. Sorry.
As long as you're not deaf, I care for you.
That's a callback to episode 2, baby. But yeah, so like they're not fucking. Their marriage is kind of like Zandalee is unsatisfied here, and Nicolas Cage is a painter and an old friend of Terry, who comes onto Zandalee hard, like very hard, like forcefully and with sexual assault sometimes.
And here's the thing, right? Is that there's a line that Zandalee says to Terry at one point, where something along the lines of like, "I wish you were paraplegic because at least I would have more sympathy for you." And that line had me crying, laughing.
That was why,
because it's just so needlessly cruel.
It is. That is really fucking bad.
Like, just because he can't get hard, like, bitch.
Yeah, she is actively refusing to empathize because he's not a cripple.
And you have to remember, she said that literally right after cheating on him with another man that's not Nick Cage.
And
actually, that was before cheating on him. Although I think
no, that was actually after, because she came home drunk.
She came home drunk. She kissed a guy, but like
no, that's what I mean though.
That's sort of cheating.
That's cheating.
Yeah, she did it on fucking purpose, dude. Come on, that's cheating. And then like, he's like, "Oh yeah, Judge Reinhold, fuck my pussy," and then like doesn't happen, and then she just insults him by basically saying like, "I wish you were at least a cripple, so at least I could empathize with the fact you can't get fucking hard, you piece of shit."
Yeah, she just can't relate to the fact that he's thinking about his dad while they're fucking.
Zandalee is a fucking monster.
Well, we'll hold off our discussion and opinions. I just got to get through this plot summary real quick. But Nicolas Cage, he comes on real hard to Zandalee, and they begin an affair, but Zandalee realizes that Cage isn't really what she's looking for either. So Zandalee and Terry try to patch things up with a trip alone together in the bayou. Terry confides this to Nicolas Cage, who he is unaware is his cuckold. And before leaving...
I'm sorry, did you say that Nicolas Cage is the cuckold?
No, Nicolas Cage is cucking Terry.
Oh, okay, yes.
And Cage, because Terry told him this, shows up in the same area on Zandalee and Terry's retreat. So once Cage arrives, Terry realizes that it is he who was sleeping with Zandalee, and he goes kind of crazy. He drives a speedboat recklessly while waving a gun around, and he ends up falling off the boat and drowns and refuses to be saved by either of them and ends up dying. So Cage and Zandalee both become kind of distraught. They eventually try to begin their romance again, but they can't stop thinking about Terry. And eventually, Zandalee is accidentally killed by a guy who is trying to kill Cage because of Cage's drug debts. And she seems to kind of throw herself into the line of fire, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. So,
romantic as fuck.
So here's the thing, right? I have a couple points. First off, once again, Zandalee is a terrible person, and except for the fact that she gets raped, she deserves literally every bad thing that happens to her in this movie.
Okay.
Deserves literally all of it. No, here's
That's
the thing,
a bit of a hot... She doesn't deserve all of it.
No, listen, though. She is a needlessly cruel, awful person. Like,
she is needlessly cruel. Cage is also needlessly cruel. And I agree with that, but I don't think you deserve to be raped and sexually assaulted.
No, I said except for the rape.
Yes, and I also don't believe you deserve to die for that.
To be fair, though, I mean, she's literally an asshole to fucking everybody in this movie, though.
Kind of, she's
except
just
for her
kinda
gay friend, who doesn't he like still like? Doesn't she still like insult him?
Gay friend played by Joey Pants from The Sopranos.
Oh shit!
I don't think she really insults him. No, he kind of
Or maybe
says
I'm
to her
misremembering, but
like that she needs to open up more.
all right, listen. Okay, she doesn't deserve to die. And she doesn't deserve to get raped. But if she were to live in a hole for the rest of her life and never leave, that'd be perfectly okay.
Look, she is kind of being an asshole, and she is not. She's certainly not in the morally correct position in this film.
I'm sorry,
but
like the fact that like what really solved their relationship was just going on a fucking vacation, because that's literally what happens.
What a fucking bad idea. They have a conversation about how things just aren't clicking, and they both agree, and they're discussing how they can't even talk to each other anymore, let alone have sex with each other. And so they decide to go on a vacation alone together. And
guess what? That just solves the majority of those issues until fucking Nick Cage shows up.
They're actually fine until Cage shows up.
So here's the thing.
True,
so
but
here's
it
the thing.
seems like a bad idea.
It does seem like kind of a bad idea.
But instead of her getting like cheating on fucking Judge Reinhold with several people, by the way, and basically like leading this fucking double life, but still leading this fucking double life behind her husband's back, lying to him the entire time, they literally could have been, oh yeah, let's take a day trip. That would have solved all their fucking problems.
Oh, it's
like, what the fuck?
Apparently, yes, it would have. But two, and one of them is just kissing, which I mean,
it's still cheating.
It is still cheating. It is.
She does it on purpose.
If you aren't agreeing, if you don't have something that you're discussing about beforehand, that is still cheating. But it is not as egregious as sleeping with someone else.
And that's why I think that Tommy Wiseau took the inspiration for The Room from this movie, because in The Room she's also needlessly cruel to fucking Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So like this woman is a fucking monster. She's like a toxic piece of shit. And so is Nick Cage, obviously. Yeah, and like we should understand that. But at the same time, like come on, girl, you gotta take responsibility for your fucking self.
She does have to take responsibility for herself a bit in here, and I would agree that she is a bit of a piece of shit in terms of like her rationalization of things and how things go on. But I will say that I don't believe Cage and her's relationship is completely consensual, and there is a bit of a threat of a force of violence that goes on there.
There is a force of violence,
fucked up.
But also at the same time, like, here's the thing: your husband is his boss. He like lives in a fucking shitty warehouse somewhere. He's a fucking drug user and a drug addict. Listen, talk to your husband. Get the fucking cops involved if it's really that bad, instead of lying to him the entire fucking time.
Yeah, I get that, but also it's on the route that she runs on, and also this is the 80s and there weren't nearly as good protections.
But you still have to try a little bit, bitch. Like, seriously?
You should try a little bit more, and honestly,
a little harder.
To me, all I'm going to say is it's clear to me this movie was written. Well, hold on. Let me look this up so I don't put my.
It was written. I mean, it was directed by a man.
Yeah,
but also, like, you have to remember, like,
written by Mary Kornhauser.
This.
Oh God,
Zandalee.
Yeah,
Zandalee is getting fucking raped at their apartment. For God, like, she doesn't try at all. Like, bitch, put up a little bit of a fight. Fuck.
Yeah, their relationship is...
No, it was written by a woman. Jesus Christ. Okay.
To be fair, I mean, there are plenty of Stephanie Meyer-ass fucking women out there who love this shit,
That's also true. That's also true. But the relationship is fucking horrible.
And Tyrion, like, does nothing wrong. He's trying so hard.
He's trying hard, but he's not trying that hard. He is
way
more focused.
He doesn't deserve any of this.
He's focused on. He doesn't deserve this. No, he doesn't deserve anything that's going on. And I feel for Tyrion, but also like he has some of the blame here in that he isn't focusing on his relationship. He's focusing on his career.
Totally fair, instead. But once again, Zandalee's reaction is so overblown. It's not even funny.
She has a right to be upset, but not to her actions.
Yeah, it's like bumping into somebody like on purpose and being like, oh, whatever, dude, and then you just stab that person. Like, that's the level of like, well, you technically were wrong, but you also like fucked over someone horrifically. And that's because Zandalee just like I mean, you know, I know there's obviously coercion with Nick Cage's character, but they fuck a lot.
And
Yeah.
to get on the
they
point
cheat
of
on each other a lot.
to get on the point
Have
of,
we touched on the nutsack yet?
Oh yes, and there is a scene. I believe this is right before Nick Cage puts cocaine in Zandalee's pussy.
Yeah,
Nick Cage
right
crouches
after-
down and shows his nutsack for a split second, and I got a freeze frame of it.
And to expand on that a little bit, they are having sex and she stops and says, I can't do this anymore. His response is, yes, you can. And then he drugs her vaginally after she says, I will not do drugs.
yes, and I've got to say there are a lot of instances of Cage being really physically violent with her.
I mean, he literally rapes
Like,
her in the church.
He does. To get on this point, Cage's sexual assaults, like, they don't get any less creepy with on a second viewing. In fact, they only get more creepy to me.
Oh, they're fucked.
Because
Yeah.
They're fucked.
I mean, like, one thing I gotta say is, to me, the foreplay in the rain by a gate thing that happened, that's kind of hot. The situation in and of itself is kind of hot to me, but the context of it with him having grabbed her while she was running and just pulled her in and said, like, this is gonna happen, this is inevitable, and then kissing her,
Which
makes
is
it
what
really
a rapist
fucked up.
says.
Yeah, it's really fucked up, and like,
And also, you said it's on her runs, right? Well, how about this? Take a taxi or something.
she's jogging for the sake of jogging. She
I know,
doesn't
but
have to-
at the same time, like I'm not victim blaming here, but what I'm saying is like you have to try a little bit fucking harder.
You're kind of victim blaming, though.
No,
Like,
but here's the thing,
literally,
right?
she's jogging.
No,
She-
I know, but once again, though, I know this is the 80s, once again, like late 80s, early 90s. Try to call the police, see what they fucking do about it, and then if not, get your husband involved, and if nothing bad happens after that, then I don't know what to fucking do, but maybe going on the jogs where you constantly get fucking sexually assaulted all the time, there might be a problem going on.
I get that. I do. And Zandalee obviously finds something attractive about this. I'm just saying Cage's actions in this movie are bad.
This mulleted, violent piece of shit man.
Yes, this whole thing is just fucked up. Their
It's
relationship
ridiculous.
is terrible.
And listen, I'm not trying to say at the end of the day that Nick Cage is a good person, because he's objectively worse than Zandalee, but Zandalee deserves a lot of condemnation in this fucking movie.
Zandalee
No, it's a
deserves some
condemnation, all right.
condemnation. She does.
Frankly, they deserve to wear more condoms in that nation.
and-
because they are, I think they're doing raw dog the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Cage looks like a NASCAR driver in this movie.
He's looking like a
I
redneck
honestly
daddy.
gotta say, like, I don't think Cage looks that bad in this movie. He's
that's the
pretty ripped.
problem.
He's toned. I actually think his hair is okay. It looks better
mullet
than
It's a fucking mullet
no.
almost.
The mullet's back, baby.
And also, you know,
it looks better than a hell of a lot of mullets I've seen, and it holds up better than a hell
we
of a
talk
lot of
about,
mullets
you know,
I've
Judge
seen.
Reinhold in this movie, Terry. Here's like, he looks bad too. He looks like Donald Pleasance if he was more of a pedophile.
I honestly
So-
disagree a little bit here. I feel like Judge Reinhold looks, he looks pretty okay. I
like
actually
the
kind of like
stash.
what he's
It's
got
mostly the
going on.
stash that's the problem.
The stash-
I like the stash on him, at
The
least.
stash is pretty good, and like the way his hair is, where it's,
I think he's a very attractive man.
I think
Also-
it works, and he looks a hell of a lot better than he did in Fast Times at Ridgemont
Well,
High.
once again,
I'll
though,
say
he's
that,
like a
but I'm not-
full grown ass adult in this movie.
Yeah, which, I mean, I had a problem with because I like him a little bit more youthful. But
Jeez, no.
And also, I'm sorry, what are the accents in this movie? What is Thierry's accent?
Oh, they're all trying to do New Orleans accents.
But they
They're
all
both very
fail
bad at it.
miserably.
We shit on Cage's accent a lot, but that is one thing I noted. I don't think we gave Judge Reinhold a hard enough time for his bad New Orleans
It's
accent.
a horrible,
It's
awful
horrendous.
accent. Horrible accent.
Everybody's, and the funniest one to me is Zandalee. She doesn't have the New Orleans accent for almost all of the movie, except there's like one line and one scene where she suddenly slips into it, and I'm just like, this sounds bad and it sounds out of place, and maybe you're trying to imply like this is her accent and she's been working to hide it, but
she
like
slipped
it
into
doesn't-
Streetcar Named Desire for a second there.
And I will say, though, once again, I have shit on Zandalee a lot, but Nick Cage, once again, is a rapist.
Yes.
At the bare minimum, a sexual harasser, but a literal rapist later on.
Not just a bare minimum. Okay, hold on.
No,
I
no,
gotta
say-
say here.
No, it starts off as sexual harassment, and then it just becomes rape.
It
That's
starts
what I mean
out
by
as sexual
that, yeah.
harassment, it becomes sexual assault, and then it becomes straight up rape. And this isn't like gray area rape where it's
No,
like, where
certainly
like
not.
she was
Yeah.
drunk. This is literal violent assault rape.
He literally
That-
rapes her in a confessional in a church.
Yeah.
Like, there's a straight up rape in this movie. So at the end of the day, even though Zandalee's a piece of shit, she's still a victim. Nick Cage is the perpetrator. We should acknowledge that. And also this
Can
movie...
I just say that it's kind of funny that we just keep referring to his character as Nick Cage, but really suggests that Nick
What's his
Cage
fucking name,
himself is
Johnny or
actually,
something?
like,
Yeah,
legit,
once you talk about Johnny,
rapist.
right? From fucking...
Exactly.
From The Room.
From
yeah.
The Room.
It's
Was
Johnny
Terry's character originally Mark? Is that they just switched the fucking names around?
Johnny Collins, that's it. Johnny Collins. And they call him Mr. Collins.
He plays for the Atlanta Hawks. But
Ding.
Oh, also, you know, there's another. We'll talk about funny things, right? Is that with the speedboat thing is going on, and the music is way louder than the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like blah blah, and you like just hear this fucking like dumb music, and it's like, listen, like, where's the sound person to like edit this? Like, this sounds stupid. Like they're really talking.
I can't really comment on the sound design because I watched this through a torrent, and the torrent had some weird
Apparently, the
fucked up
torrent's really
shit going
bad
on.
because my torrent's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
full disclaimer, I fucking bought like 30 copies of this movie just to make
Well,
up for
of course.
everybody who did it legally.
How many VHS and DVD copies?
14 VHSs, don't own a VCR, and the rest were all DVDs. But what I was going to say is that something that you mentioned, I just want to amend a little bit. When you said that Zandalee doesn't deserve anything that happens to her.
I know. I said everything.
Well, hold on. You said she doesn't deserve to die, and I just want to point out that we all deserve to die because we are a scourge on this planet, and we are actively killing it every moment.
And that's
of
like you
our
can't
existence.
trust in my self-righteous suicide.
Look, no one deserves to die. It is our
angels
our
deserve to die.
shitty lot in life that we are born pushing a boulder up a hill and watching it roll back down every day, and that is the fundamental absurdity of life.
Yeah, no one
and-
should have
and-
to die, but no one should be allowed to
And
live.
here's the thing: Jess is using this as a justification for cheating on her future husband, Judge Reinhold.
Look, I have never cheated on anybody in a
No,
relationship.
I haven't either. I think it's shitty.
I will say
but-
that.
And I have not either. I've
I
had
wish
plenty
I
of
could
people
say the
cheat on
same.
me.
I
No, I'm
have
just
been
kidding.
cheated on.
Oh,
I've never
I've been
cheated on
many
anybody.
times.
I have been cheated on, and I have never cheated. I'm a good boy.
And you know who the other man always was? It was Nick Cage.
Oh shit!
Look, we're all
they all got
scorned
raped by
lovers
Nick
here.
Cage.
We're all
For
scorned.
me,
We've all been cheated on, and I feel
Yeah.
like you two are letting that cloud your judgment a little
no,
bit.
no,
For me,
listen,
I think I was
I-
cucked by a meth head, and I don't think anything's clogging my judgment right now.
And no, listen, I'm not letting it clog my judgment. I'm just saying that even though Zandalee is a victim here, she should have more agency. That's all I'm saying.
Did y'all see
and
Nick Cage's nuts in this movie?
Yes,
did.
and like we did mention Nick Cage's nuts, particularly the 10 seconds before he shoves cocaine in her fucking pussy.
Yeah, you can see Nicolas Cage's balls. They're
see his
very
ass a lot,
shadowed.
too.
You can't actually properly see them. You more see the outline of them. But if you are interested in Cage genitals, they're here.
Oh, and
They're
also if you're
present.
really interested in Judge Reinhold and Nick Cage ass.
yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
that in this movie.
Oh, and I will say, like, fucking Cage is in the best shape I've ever seen him in any
he's
movie.
he's
Yeah.
except for the hair, he's pretty fucking hot in this movie.
and one thing I will say is that I felt
he looks like the Chad version of Bill Hicks a little bit.
Holy shit!
he's Chad Hicks.
No, literally though, like look at him. He looks like Chad Hicks. Like seriously.
I gotta.
He does.
I don't see it.
Well, especially when he's like wearing like the fucking like snakeskin boots and like the fucking like jacket with.
But
like,
you're
the
talking about
button up.
Bill Hicks right now as a skeleton.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
So if y'all are looking to see Bill Hicks' nuts,
But one thing I will say is that I felt kind of bad for the actress playing Zandalee because she spent this entire movie just like laying there naked and or getting thrust on by.
Yeah, she spends this entire movie getting fucking raped and being naked and having things shoved up her pussy. Like this actress, like she must have like night terrors about this.
Yeah, I
fucking
can't
movie.
imagine
Yeah.
the filming of this movie being pleasant.
Oh no.
So
I can't imagine the pay being very high either.
I feel like all around this movie is a tragedy.
Well, talk about tragedies, right? I mean, the fact that Steve Buscemi's barely in it.
That's a good point.
Oh my God, Steve Buscemi in this movie is my favorite part of this, and I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
he's
off.
the best
Dave.
character.
He is. He's so pointless. He serves no
fact
purpose.
that he has any
but he
dialogue is
fucking
baffling.
amazing.
I can
Guess what?
detail this movie.
He's so pointless too, but like his only crime is stealing a TV that's already in the garbage anyway.
Yes. Oh, and I want to say one thing I didn't notice.
He's being used for slave labor.
He is, yes. He's a fucking prison laborer. I didn't notice that the first time through, but on the back of his uniform it says like New Orleans prison or something like that.
Yeah, he's being used
he's
for
a
slave
fucking slave
labor.
prison laborer. This motherfucker. Steve Buscemi in this movie is a shining star.
This movie is a microcosm of all of society's problems. You have like fucking like, urban decay with the French Quarter looking like shit. You got Nick Cage being toxic and a rapist. The fucking victim not being able to do anything about it while still being a perpetrator of her own abuse a little bit. You got the nice guy Judge Reinhold, who's only trying to be a nice guy, and women always fuck him over. And then you have Steve Buscemi just like constantly being abused by the fucking carceral
Y'all were talking
system.
about Elliot Rodger last time, but this sounds more like Elliot Rodger.
No, listen, I'm talking about like
I mean, he literally
prison
pulled out
rights.
a gun and started shooting randomly.
Yeah, but also you have to remember that was after he had been cheated on a million times by his best friend.
He got cheated on 3 times.
I don't know how
with his
that
best
part
friend.
relates to Elliot Rodger because I'm still like learning about the early part of his career.
And also, though, here's the thing: he's doing that as a
Career as a fucking.
Here's the thing: he's doing that as a lashing out, and he doesn't shoot anybody. He's just shooting a pea shooter in the air. That would, like I said, if you shot it at someone's head, the bullet would cave like.
Dude, you can kill someone with a 22.
No, that gun wouldn't kill a fucking squirrel. I'm
It
sorry.
would kill someone.
Can we just take
It'd be
a
like
second?
a Colossus when you
With
shoot a
all
gun.
of
I
this-
literally have a
Like that
22
shit.
air gun upstairs. I'll
Alright,
shoot
well,
you in the
fuck
head
y'all
if you
then.
think you can
Yeah,
survive.
put me out of my
Dave,
misery,
go on.
bitch. Put me out of my misery.
And as we mentioned earlier, murder is okay if there is consent.
And as long as they're above the age of 18.
I'm sorry, Dave. We got heated. Go on.
No.
Okay. All right. So that is all I have to say. And I will say though too is that this entire second act, I was crying laughing throughout the entire second act because it's just so everything that happens is just so fucking monstrous.
Yeah, all the like physical comedy in the church.
Oh God.
And also, like Nick
I'm
Cage
sorry.
doesn't have a whole lot of freakouts, but he does have one where he's in the church, and he just before, of course, he rapes Zandalee. So of course, this is really, really funny. Of course, he has a freak out where he just rips his shirt open. He's got his chest like, look at me, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, this movie is going to turn good. And then he rapes Zandalee, and I'm like, okay, this movie sucks.
I have a couple of things to say. One, I think I kind of touched on it already, but Steve Buscemi, best part of this movie.
Oh, objectively, yes.
Yeah. Talk about a microcosm of the world we live in. Rape, slave labor, and not enough Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. And not
He's-
enough urban decay either.
Yeah.
He's there is an,
Oh, also some like transphobia and homophobia going on too.
I don't remember the transphobia.
Well, transphobia, I think the whole joke is that he dresses up like a woman and it's supposed to be funny. I think they're kind of making fun of that a
If
little
you viewed
bit.
it that way, whatever. But I viewed it as like she was having a moment of connection with her friend who was wearing a dress to a ball.
Oh
So,
no, I thought they were constant. At
So-
least for me, I felt like there was some transphobia going on there a little bit.
I just
maybe,
felt
maybe
like
I'm wrong. And they also
when-
called him they also used an anti-gay slur when he's like kicking those like drug users away from his.
Yes, and when he was kicking the drug users away, I just kept thinking like, this is the energy he used to kill Tony Soprano's horse.
but yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of very gratuitous nudity in this movie. There is honestly no real reason for the amount that is present.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and also I will say too, there's a scene where because Nick Cage is an artist, he's an artiste, a really good artist. The very common type of actual person that exists, a artist who lives in a warehouse, but who's also like a blue collar worker who's a rapist and a drug user. Those very common type of guy out there.
Frankly, there are a lot of artist types that will gaslight you and do some weird shit. But
Yes, but they're usually like the children of petite bourgeois, not like fucking rural proletariat or urban proletariat. Not that. That's not a normal type of guy.
I would say
and
he's just a typical character.
Yeah.
there is a
And also
scene,
looks like a redneck, but is also metropole. So a very normal character.
there's a scene where Zandalee does come home from the club horny and she tries to fuck Thierry, Judge Reinhold, who can't get it up or doesn't want to do anal. I can't really tell what's going on in the scene, but either way,
He either didn't want to do anal or he just refuses to do anything but missionary. I couldn't because they changed positions and then he's like, I can't.
No, I think he only does fuck her missionary.
Yeah,
but after that, she starts like masturbating and he looks at her and he's like, I can't fucking put up with this right now. And I'm kind of like, I get it if you feel like you can't fuck, but like, let her rub one out.
Well, no,
like,
no,
what
wait,
went out for? Like you're
also-
still like eat her pussy.
You're also forgetting that she fucking woke him up out of a dead sleep. Like, I have sympathy for that shit.
I don't know if he was dead asleep. He was laying there, and he's like...
But he's trying to sleep, and he's just like, yo, bitch, you fucking woke me up.
Okay, no, that's fine,
And then you insulted
cool.
me,
But,
and now you're gonna masturbate
you wake
in
me
my
up and
bed.
insult me, and, well, fine, you want to masturbate? If that's the compromise, I'm cool with it. Just fucking rub
She
one
was
out.
also
I don't
crying
give a
while
shit if my
masturbating.
partner
Listen, no,
masturbates next to me. That's kind of hot.
She
Right.
basically
Pretty
like
rad.
told him like, oh, fuck me right away, when he clearly can't already do that, then insulted him, and then masturbated while crying and looking at him. I can understand why he doesn't want to deal with that shit.
I can totally... Okay, I forgot about the because the paraplegic comment comes right before that, and that is pretty fucking weird.
There's just like abuse and
But-
toxicness
Yeah.
with all that. So you know what? I have full sympathy
There
for
is a
Terry.
lot.
On that one situation, listen, if there's one time I would not be happy with my girl masturbating in my bed, that's the time. Okay, that's the one time.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And also, going on later in the movie, there's a scene where Nick Cage at the very end destroys all of his art because he just can't handle the
Yes,
fact that
well,
he
that's
accidentally
another
killed
thing I
his
was gonna
friend.
bring
And then he also does all body blackface for some reason.
Well, that's a classic Cage freakout, frankly. He
good
splatters a bunch
freakout,
of
though.
paint all over himself that's like
Yeah.
black paint while he's destroying all his art and throwing all his art supplies around.
There was actually a deleted scene where he gets out a webcam and starts doing Let's Plays of Fortnite. After that part.
To bring up this movie again, it's kind of reminiscent of the scene in the room where Johnny's about to kill himself and he's like humping
Yeah, he's
Lisa's
humping the
dress.
dress, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that.
And where the belly button of the dress would be, too.
Exactly. And one thing I will say, like, don't watch this movie. But
Oh, no, I would not recommend this movie.
For all the contentious and negative takes that are just flying about over this last hour, I really think it's important to note the fact that there was another movie this movie was pitted against, and this movie almost won unanimously.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to kind of pay attention to the fact that, you know, Left Behind is a really fucking bad movie.
All right, so you know what, though?
I just want to say in defense of that episode, rape is terrible. It's also bad on screen, doesn't need to be depicted, but also Left Behind fucking blows.
Left Behind was terrible.
But what I was going to say was that don't watch this movie, but if you can find the one scene where Nicolas Cage shows up on their vacation and he and Judge Reinhold aggressively slow dance while just staring
at each other
dead
with
in
a
the eyes.
fucking ridiculous expression on their faces.
wild.
Here's the thing. I'm surprised this wasn't in the trivia, but Nick Cage actually went to dance school and invented that dance just to do that scene with Judge Reinhold.
And he learned, even though it wasn't for his character, he learned how to fall off a boat and drown.
Yeah, he actually tried it with several different people before they could get it right, and all those people are unfortunately dead. They were actually in the credits. if you didn't
He
know.
lost a lung.
I got to share a couple of lines I enjoyed. Right before Cage's freakout, he yells to a prospective art buyer, "In 75 years, you'll be fucking dead, and I'll be standing next to Picasso, and..."
By the way, that's
he'll be dead too.
That's
is what
not a
he's saying.
random person. That's Zach Galligan, who's the main character from Gremlins.
Zach Galligan, I liked him in The Hangover. Huh.
I was about to ask, wasn't that the Hangover guy?
Come on.
Another quote I liked is, "I want to shake you naked and eat you alive."
That's what Nick Cage says to
That's just-
Zandalee, right?
And you like that one
Yes,
because
he did.
that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, because
Whatever. You know,
because
someone wants to shake me naked and eat me alive, well, like, fuck it.
that's the thing is
I
that
don't know.
Jess really loves like con non-con. So
Wait, I don't know. I don't know what that meant exactly, but I
consensual
have a bottom
non-consent.
streak. in
It's
me
like she
sometimes.
likes being raped, but not really.
Oh God. Okay.
This BDSM, that's the joke.
BDSM, of course, stands for Big Dick Sex Machine.
Also, a line shared between Cage and Reinhold that was obvious innuendo that I don't know if anyone caught, but Cage was eating a piece of fruit, and
Oh,
he
yes.
said, "You want to share my peach?" And Judge Reinhold said, "No, thank you." Very directly and forcefully.
That's the thing I will say is that I think the problem with Judge Reinhold in this movie is that he's basically asexual. He's a lot of ace energy going on there.
That's possible for sure. But there's also a part kind of similarly where Nicolas Cage is describing, I think, eating pussy. And saying that, like, when that thing comes at your face like a freight train, and he kind of trails off. But just that description of oral sex is fantastic.
Oh God! This movie was quite a watch, and I'm glad we had quite a lively conversation about all the details of this movie and some disagreements.
This movie is a fucking weird movie and a strangely contentious movie.
And I will say, if you really are hard, watch this movie because you're gonna come really quick. You can talk about come in 60 seconds. You'll easily come in 60 seconds.
This movie is one big try not to bust challenge.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, if you don't mind, Jess, can we get into the reviews?
Yeah. I don't know if Dave has a summary. He already.
I was gonna say, Dave, do you have a summary of Zandalee again?
I do. One moment.
Alrighty.
I hope he gives a summary of the country of Zanzibar.
Or the Halo map, Zanzibar.
That too.
I hope he does Xanadu.
Me and you should totally go out and hit it tomorrow. Me and you totally hit the hills, and we'll just blaze all that powder.
Is it another fucking Fensler film thing?
Get your new canoe and just go. Let's do it. Cheers to awesome snowboarders, man.
What's up, man? I thought I'd never see you, man.
God damn it, it's hacking again.
I thought... Okay, here it is. Hear me out. Okay, I got this idea. And, what it is that we, go around the world, me and you, and we just, hack.
All right.
Nick Cage is a homo.
Well, I mean,
That was a pretty good description, if you ask me, dude. That was really good plot synopsis.
I find it
shit, that was a
interesting
fantastic plot synopsis.
in the movie that Nick Cage is a homo in the movie where he objectively has the most straight sex that an individual can have in an hour and a half runtime.
Homos can have straight sex.
Fuck. I guess, yeah, I'm a fucking...
Nick Cage has very straight man sex, and that is a very not a positive descriptor.
yeah.
Y'all want to hear the hack part again?
I'll listen to the episode back, I think.
Yeah.
We can listen to 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, I think so.
I do have a few reviews here. I don't have many because this is actually kind of funny. There were 69 reviews on Amazon.
That's the sex number.
Yeah, a lot of them incoherent.
And there were 420 reviews for
420 people found this
Kick-Ass,
helpful.
right?
And just to be clear, Mike, you got all these from the VHS section, right?
I mean, there was a lot of people talking about the VHS version.
Okay.
So, yeah, I got a review from Riley who says, love it. If you want to watch some softcore porn featuring Nicolas Cage, then this is it. Love it. 5 stars.
I mean, not wrong, except for the 5-star part.
See, a lot of people would call this softcore porn as like an insult, but Riley wanted to clarify that as a compliment.
I don't know how softcore putting drugs up a woman's pussy is, though.
You didn't actually see the penetration. It
You
may
didn't see
not
the
have even
penetration.
actually
I-
occurred,
I've
which
seen
I
some
believe is the definition of
Listen,
softcore.
I've seen some hardcore porn that is less hardcore than this fucking movie.
That's true, and I saw some
Nicolas
sack.
Cage is nuts in this movie.
Yeah,
it's
you
pretty
do see
hardcore.
Nick Cage's nuts for like a frame, yeah.
I got a interview from. Oh shit! This interview must be from Jared Leto.
Oh.
Because his username is Jokerman. Oh no, it's Jokeman. He wrote a review and says Nicolas Cage overacts at times, but it's worth it for Erica Anderson's nudity. 5 stars.
Fine. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Valerie writes, fantastic. This movie is fantastic. I cried at the end of this movie. Nicolas Cage is the greatest actor in the world. 5 stars.
Okay, that last part's true. Everything else is stupid.
And I just have one more review from Robert Walker, who says, waiting to watch. 4 stars.
We didn't even watch it.
God damn it.
That was a very informative review. Thank you very much. Was it George Herbert Robert Walker Bush? Appreciate it.
So basically, if you like this movie, you liked the nudity.
If you like this movie, you like a sex.
And I will say this movie did teach me how to fuck. Mm-hmm. And so I can't be mad about that.
And that's the thing you might not know too is that when you watch this movie, you learned how to fuck. We fuck. We fuck now.
We fuck now. So
Yeah. I will say, perhaps this movie would have been great to watch back in the day before porn was so readily available. But at this point, you can just find anything on your... You know, if you're going to look at porn, just go on OnlyFans. It's the best way to support porn stars and people like that.
And I feel like as well is that if back in the early days before like the concept of rape culture was understood, this would have been a good movie to watch as well.
Yeah, maybe before the concept of rape was fully understood.
Before the concept of consent existed.
The concept of rape didn't exist until I think around 95. So
that's true. Yeah,
that's why it was okay. This movie.
And believe it or not, consent wasn't real until like 1997 or so.
Yeah, I mean, if it's real.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not going to get into that debate.
Yeah, that's a debate for another episode.
Okay, that's good.
that's a debate for the face-off episode.
But yeah, so.
Should we vote or
should we? I think we should vote.
How do we do this?
Suppose we're supposed to vote now.
So, Dave, do you want to do the countdown? All right, cool.
Not even for Dave's favorite movie.
Okay. Well, remember though, he's the tiebreaker. So, Jess, would you like to count us down?
No.
Fine, I'll count you down.
I'll count it.
3, 2, 1. Kick ass. How about you, Jess?
Wow.
I said kick ass.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Wow.
Then, in this movie...
Somehow I thought you two were going to team up against me and just vote Zandalee further on.
You know,
I don't want to watch this shit again.
I don't
You've
either.
already watched it twice now. I only had to watch it once, and I'm like, never
kill
again.
myself.
Listen, even though I was laughing really hard throughout the entire second act because of how stupid and gratuitous it was, I don't want to watch this movie again. This movie made me really mad.
So you can imagine how bad Left Behind was, right?
I think Left Behind would be more enjoyable.
Saying. Oh my god, you have to see Left Behind then.
We'll do a bonus episode where we make Taylor watch
I
Left
watched
Behind.
the entirety of Pay the Ghost. And
Let's do a Left Behind versus Pay the Ghost
Pay the Ghost
episode.
isn't the fucking worst movie we've seen.
Well, you're forgetting about 211, which is the worst movie that we've seen.
211 is one of the worst ones. I don't know. I go back and forth.
It couldn't be worse than fucking Left Behind, though, could it?
Sonny,
It's-
well, see, Left Behind I almost can't consider the worst movie because I can barely consider it a movie.
That's fair. I mean, it's like part 1 of like 15, so.
And like, no, it literally doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like a fucking... It doesn't even
Like
feel
a
like
convenient
student
fucking
film
advertisement?
quality. Like,
It's the type of shit that they play on the fucking big screen at mega churches in between fucking sermons.
Yeah, it's like...
I mean, that's literally what Left Behind is, though.
Yeah, if they go to a church and they're doing a drive-in, it's like Left Behind and God's Not Dead 2.
Listen, if you have a remake of a fucking Kirk Cameron movie, you know you fucked up. You remade a Kirk Cameron movie.
Hear me out though. Kirk Cameron Crowe.
oh.
Yeah,
What
well,
about
that's thing
Kirk
is
Hammett, though? Huh?
that's thing though. You know,
Kirk
counting
Cameron
crows.
Crowe to Kirk Hammett, though.
Speaking of Kirk Hammett, I saw. I know we should wrap up, but I'm just gonna drop this in real quick. I saw one of those people with a time machine memes the other day, and it was like men with a time machine, and they were switching putting Kirk Hammett in Cliff Burton's seat on the bus.
Oh, God.
Just do Lars Ulrich instead.
No, why not Lars?
Oh no, that's what it was. It was Lars. Never mind.
Wait,
Okay,
the good
that
one of
makes more
those is where
sense.
they're both killing Ronald Reagan in Minecraft.
And that's. I mean, I'll kill him in Minecraft, out of Minecraft.
Oh shit!
So,
But with all that ado, Zandalee finally gets knocked out, deservedly.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hate to see it go, but I love to watch it leave.
Just like Zandalee.
So, just to be clear, none of us knew that Zandalee was fucking Zandalee before Zandalee, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, no, hear me out. Like, we had basically what was like religious propaganda versus Zandalee.
That's true.
Did anybody know that Zandalee was like basically like a softcore porn rape?
I didn't know
fest?
anything about Zandalee at all.
I didn't know a goddamn thing about Zandalee before I watched
Because
that.
that is fucking kind of hilariously convenient. I mean, almost as convenient as fucking Left Behind's plot.
Basically, I've made it my mission to raise awareness about Zandalee and just make sure that nobody... I want people to know about it so they don't watch it.
I told all my friends to watch Zandalee though. Just so they know what not to do when trying to have sex with a woman, and that all includes just shoving drugs up a woman's pussy.
Probably best that Zach is no longer with us because he fucking loved this shit too
Yeah.
much.
He
It
just
was
loved
weird.
sex, right? That
He
was the thing.
loves sex, and he loves fucking. So
Before we leave, the next episode will be Red Rock West versus Trapped in Paradise.
hell yeah, Trapped in Paradise fucking rules.
Trapped in Paradise is a returning winner
And then quotation marks.
that went against The Runner, a very
bad movie. But you know what? Trapped in Paradise fucking rules, brother.
So yeah, definitely stay tuned for those winners for sure.
Yes,
or
and
don't care.
but yeah, that's all we have to say to you about Cage Fight today. Watch those movies and join
fuck
us
outta
next
here.
time. And we love you, listeners, loyal listeners.
And
fuck out of here.
Here's the thing. This is Taylor signing off. Fight the good fight. Zandalee, worst movie of all time.
Retweet all my tweets, please. I'm feeling lonely.
Yes, just follow me.
Bad is left behind.
Bye bye.
Cage fight. Oh yeah. Cage fight. Here goes Cage.
Solid work. Solid work. Solid work. Hey, solid work.
This has been a Solid Work production.